what they say the record was the other day. It was 27 below in
Snow was walking.
30 plus years ago. Yeah.
It was
I do got one somewhere. No, I don't.
snowing at my house this morning pretty good when
I
I
printed
got
out
there.
the front of it on there. It's close enough. It's okay.
You got you.
We're going green today.
It's those little spreadsheets of yours that you need binoculars.
Yes, the eye test.
That's the one.
Everybody has their role in the county. Mine is to check everybody's eyesight.
Gary, or guys, are you ready to go?
Yep.
I'm going to call today's meeting to order. Just to let everybody know, our meetings are recorded and on video. They're not streaming yet, but soon they will be. Before we start our meeting, we're going to get up and say the pledge. All those who would like to, feel free. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the 1/7/2025?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as received for 1/7/2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the commissioner meeting minutes for 1/7/2025 as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, now we'll start with our new business. Gary Poole, our highway engineer, is up first with an update.
All right, good morning. I have one item for signature. The low bidder for HMA asphalt for annual bid was Waste Management. We forgot to get that signed during the packet. The closest, I'll pull up the spreadsheet, the others will go on there in a second, but these were the lowest bidder. I am recommending we accept the annual bid from Waste Management for our asphalt materials. I'll pull it up real quick. So I didn't print out the packet.
Make a motion, we accept, the bids for, aggregate, for waste, what?
So asphalt materials
Asphalt materials
from Waste Management.
from Waste Management.
And there's, I pulled up the thing, they were 66.25 for surface, and the closest second was Dave O'Meara Contractor at $70.50 a ton.
Okay,
So
as
they were a little
presented.
bit-
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the annual bid for asphalt materials from Waste Management as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Here, you got some signature back here. Oh, it's got all three of us.
Commissioner McDaniel, myself, and Mr. Rales, hopefully sometime this spring, when it's a little bit warmer, we'll go out there and we'll meet with the Amazon crew. I think we have an idea that can help with the queuing of trucks out there. Specifically, it'll have redirect the trucks onto some of the frontage roads and then some additional striping to ensure that the auto parts store is not blocked to the north of there when they get some queued up trucks. Hopefully we won't have drama out there again until next holiday season when they tend to get slammed, but hopefully we can get ahead of that this year. We got a CFI grant. I applied for some parking spots within Greenfield. I spoke with the mayor about that briefly last week. And there's a couple spots up in the development area and a couple spots up in the Amplify Green area. So this is an 80-20 grant. So obviously wasn't a big program for us, but being the feds are gonna pay for 80% of it, we went ahead and moved it forward and try to get some of the electrical charging. Hopefully a couple spots here for if any of the employees at some point get the new hybrids you can plug in or something like that, they'll have an option to plug in if they want. And the public will be able to use it as well if they wanted to. You swipe a card and you pay for the electricity or something like that. 400 North will be closed. This is for a state job on State Road 9. It's going to be closed briefly for 2 or 3 days, hopefully over the weekend. They will call and notify 911 and the schools and stuff when they affect that change. They're installing a new utility line through there as part of their project. I think the school board meeting this week is this week, Scott, so if you keep an eye on that and make sure, hopefully that moves forward without issue. Otherwise, we'll have to make sure Plan B is rolling while that's to be taken care of. Probably will never need Plan B, obviously, but we do have to be professionals and make sure it is rolling if necessary.
Should be approved for sure.
I would hope so. State Road, we're talking about that. Salt supply is okay. We've used 780 tons so far. We have 1,400 tons remaining. So we're actually having a winter this year. Good fun for everybody. So far, the sheriff and everybody's been doing pretty good. The driver's doing pretty good. It hasn't been too many accidents from the storm, so we're moving along. Of course, there's always some slight offs. We got our 4x4s out there in the middle of the night that want to play in the snow, and sometimes having fun can lead to non-fun. I broke the Jeep's axle in the snow. Turns out I overused it, so.
Were you having fun in the snow?
I was helping move the snow. I was helping convince the snow to go different places. So the mechanic's been waiting for that thing to die. He says the wheel's physically coming off the vehicle now, so we are, I need to declare that surplus so we can replace it.
The axle or the whole Jeep?
The drive axle to the front passenger wheel broke, and so the wheel went wiggly. It's still attached to the struts, but I told Dusty when the wheels started coming off the vehicle, I'd look into getting another one, so he says that time has come. So I'd like to request that the commissioners declare the Jeep surplus. I have the VIN number and stuff listed there, but it is.
Do you have the title to it today? We can sign off on it.
No, I was gonna have you declare it surplus first, and then
We
do it
usually
through
sign
the.
off
I think
on
we're
it.
doing the titles through the auditor's office, then it'll come through your regular packet then when that time comes.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve, what year and what is it?
We wanted to declare the Jeep Liberty surplus. The VIN number
The
is
Jeep
listed there.
Liberty surplus, VIN number, last 4 numbers is 3758.
Okay, second.
It's been moved and seconded that we surplus one of the Jeeps at the county highway. You know what year it is, Gary? The year of the Jeep at all?
I think it's 14 years old, 15.
With the last 4 of the VIN being 3758 as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
We already did the HMA award. Representative Lawson is working on a couple of bills for the county. So Ada and I have to review a couple of those today. It's nothing major. We're trying to make sure that we can complete work in an efficient manner. And that's kind of the, in government recently, they're trying to really get a lot of the bureaucracy out of the way of like work. So we're working on a couple of bills to do that. Everything from floodplains to the county should be able to pave roads with their own forces because we can do it cheaper than anybody else as much as we can. So if you want to read, I'm not going to read those through in here, but those are in
That's
there.
fine.
Okay. Barring any questions, that is all I have for this morning. It's going to be cold the rest of this week. We'll keep pushing back snow drifts and hopefully get to warmer weather. The coldest day of the week is average coldest day of the year is next week, and then it goes up sharply from there. So,
Let's hope. Thank you.
ever the optimist.
Thank you, Gary.
Mr. Going.
Phil Going.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you to Sarah and whoever was responsible for fitting us in early on the agenda. I greatly appreciate that. I'm here today on behalf of R&F Development, who's in the wrap-up phase of their subdivision Rockfield Estates over on 100 South between 300 and 400 West. And a part of that wrap-up phase is asking you, as the commissioners, to accept the right-of-way dedication within that section. So these streets will have a 50-foot right-of-way, And along County Road 100 South, we are also dedicating a 50-foot half right-of-way.
I make a motion to accept the 50-foot right-of-way on, well, what was those, between 300 and 400
Yes, that's correct.
at Rockville Estates? And what, the other one was 100?
Yeah, specifically this Rockville Estates Section 1.
Okay. And the 50-foot right-of-way on 100 next to Rockwood Estates as presented.
I'll second.
So that's a 50-foot right-of-way within Rockville Estates Section 1, a 50-foot half on the,
That's correct.
what county road was that again?
100 South.
100 South, okay. It's been moved and seconded that the county accept the 50-foot half right-of-way for Rockville Estates, Section 1, and the 50-foot half right-of-way associated with it on County Road 100 South as presented by Phil Going. And any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, she needs to go too, okay.
With that magic pen.
Had to revise the class to have another name on it.
Do you need the other sign too?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
unfortunately.
Here,
Yeah, there's 2 paper copies.
okay, sorry. You can take that if you want.
Phil is still asking for the Mylar.
The recorder, or no, I'm not recording, the blank motion.
I didn't see his Mylar.
Although I think Polly is working.
Yeah, it's a special one that signs on that Mylar.
Yeah, they're the only ones.
I thought I had asked you that before, but I couldn't remember what you said.
Would not remember that.
Yeah, then you told me.
Thank you.
Pen?
Yes. My special Mylar pen.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Can I borrow your black pen? Can I
Yeah.
dig one out
Yeah.
here?
Okay.
One more? Borrow that
That's
black
right.
pen again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, here.
Yeah, but I think, I'm not sure if I have to wait for her until 8:45 or
Oh,
not.
we have to.
Because of Board of Finance.
We do, but Misty
Yeah,
Moore
Misty
can-
Moore and Joe Fitzgerald, if you would like to come up and just give an update on Homeland Security.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think the hot topic right now is snow and cold weather. So I want to give you an overview of our response and maybe just some, advantages and disadvantages of the ways that we responded for the snowstorm from a couple weeks ago. Of course, we all knew that it was coming, so we were monitoring the forecast ahead of time, communicating with the state and National Weather Service. When storms are coming in like that, they hold daily conference calls so that we all throughout the state are on board with what's coming and how everyone's responding. We also have a radio group of ham amateur radio operators that are also weather spotters that are constantly updating us and letting us know, what's coming in. They tend to know more details because they're following all the way down to, the wind speed and the minor details. So all those things together, we absolutely always know what's coming. So we started that communication process with all the public safety officials, and Commissioner Spalding started a group message with all of us that would be the decision makers in any of the changes to the travel advisory that might come in that storm. Because it started on Sunday, it wasn't too difficult to convince the public to stay off the roads. They were already usually off the roads, especially when it's so cold and snowy. So usually, you know, if we go to yellow advisory, it makes them, you know, think about things. Social media posts help. The 911 Center and us and all the other public safety departments also are putting out social media posts, which makes people stop and really think about whether they should be out. So that was super helpful. John gave, I believe, you all a rundown of the 911 calls from that storm in the following weekend as well. They were up, but it wasn't staggering. I think it would have been staggering if it would have been on a Friday, Saturday. I think it also would have been more staggering if we hadn't gone to the orange level watch. You know, red is our most stringent level of the watch, but people really take orange seriously. It's not an absolute requirement that they stay off the roads, but they see it like we absolutely should be off the roads. So I think that's super helpful when we get to that stage. So after checking in with highway and public safety officials after the snow and everything started, we were able to efficiently make a decision with you all, with the commissioners, to elevate to that orange travel watch. Again, that helped to keep more people off the roads. We were also communicating and coordinating with the warming shelter and our volunteers who helped to run that. I literally just had a phone call from Shelby County last week asking me how we manage that and how it seems to be so, you know, open so often and so efficiently run. And I'm very fortunate to be able to say we have a volunteer, you all probably know Jim Peters, who takes care of every single detail. All the way down to, you know, I asked him, you know, I'm going to stop by tonight. Can I bring anything food-wise for in the morning? He said, Misty, everything's covered. It's always covered. So we're very fortunate in that regard. He always has it opened up when the need is there. And they've gotten more and more volunteers. So it's really kind of just a communication with them and them keeping us apprised as to what's going on. Once the conditions were at an orange level, again, that's still just a recommendation. We changed the web EOC, which populates that state map that we all see on that app that shows what level every county is in. We activated the EOC on an ESF staffing level. Of course, that doesn't mean that everybody's going into the EOC, but everyone is virtually activated and communicating with each other on how to respond. We posted all of that on social media, sent out the rave alerts, and set up interviews with the media via our PIO. So when the media calls me, because we have a trained PIO at the 911 Center, Greg Duda, we let him do all the interviews. He's trained in that. He knows how to speak to them, but he's constantly communicating with us on, you know, what we're seeing and what to say. With regards to the travel advisory, I think that is an area that gets a little tricky. First of all, I want to point out, and I think you probably know this, we cannot follow Marion County. You know, counties will tend to look at what counties around us are doing just to get an idea of what people are feeling like. Marion County hardly ever leaves green, and they absolutely never leave yellow. They never go orange or red. If they did, it's been 20 or plus years ago. So we tend to watch Hendricks County because they're just west of Marion County, so that's typically the weather that's going to be coming our direction. And we communicate and watch a lot with Shelby and Rush since we share a lot of those county roads with them. But again, it's still a little difficult, but it's a process that I think has worked really well with communicating with highway department and public safety officials on what the roads are looking at. We're going out and driving around and checking them out as well. So through the night and early that next morning, we continue to physically monitor those conditions and report that back to you. Some of the things that we physically ended up doing on that Monday that I think is a little out of the ordinary and caught us off guard the last time we had a snowstorm, but we were we were glad to be able to help them. The dialysis center doesn't have a way to transport patients to the dialysis center in severe weather. They typically rely on, of course, their family or the senior services transportation. Both of those aren't able to get out very easily in weather conditions like that. So we go and personally pick them up and take them to the dialysis center. 4 hours later, we go back and pick them up. It's really a precious time, actually, because they're so thankful and so grateful. And I think some of you know that my mom was on dialysis, so it personally just touches me too to be able to help them with that. So Joe and I always do that. We do have volunteers that come and help with that as well. They didn't need to do that this time because we only had a few.
How many do we have that we actually do that from time to time?
This time we did that for 3.
Okay.
The last storm, I think they were more caught off guard, so a lot of them hadn't already rescheduled their appointments or didn't have other arrangements made, and we had 5 or 6 the last time.
Okay.
But this
That's
time
good.
there were 3.
Does that create, Ms. type of liability or risk on the part of the county or Homeland Security?
Not any additional risk that I know of. You know, I believe it's the same as, you know, helping people out of the ditches.
Okay.
You know, we're helping them out of their driveways. We're transporting them in our county vehicles to those sites, just like we would be picking up, you know, if a police officer picks up someone and takes them to the shelter, I believe. But if you want me to confirm that, I
would.
can. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's a pen. Excuse me. And so speaking of ditches, along the way between picking up people for dialysis and checking the road conditions, there were people off in the ditches, and I know the 911 center is overwhelmed. So there were times that we were helping just pull people out and get them on their way. Discussions began regarding closing the offices that Monday. I think if we were to have this happen again, and we will, I think that it probably would be a good idea to talk about that process ahead of time a little bit more in detail, just because we just didn't really have it, you know, narrowed down to exactly when we were going to make that call, what that's going to look like. Once we made that call, some people were already at work, and, you know, of course they were happy to be able to go back home. But then also Kelly and I realized that we didn't have the process really honed in on how to let everybody know. We have an alert system, but for whatever reason, when Craig Duda and I went into that alert system, that office closed template wasn't in there. Don't know why, but those are the kind of things that happen. So then that backup would be, you know, what Kelly ended up doing through the benefits system. She and I navigated that and figured it out within minutes. But I think it's just something that I will probably have some more communication about before we get there on how that might work. I know we were trying to stay in tune with the city as well, and I think they made a late decision.
It was
also
late, and I think you're spot on with that response. We should probably strive to, by 5:30 anytime in the morning we have a weather event like that, to make a call.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that some of the court staff comes in that much early.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
receive some calls, and, well, we should, to say, hey, you might put our staff at risk. If they'd have known they could have stayed home, they did. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
The city, you know, just the way the winds and things move throughout the night. And we wanted to pair up with the city so that we could
Right.
kind of all be in the same, on the same page with closing government offices.
Right.
Yes, we closed late. Hopefully we'll get it right the next time.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to armchair quarterback
Yeah, for sure.
the event, but I think we did about as good as we could do for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, you know, we'll know that that's something that we need to communicate about
Yeah.
a little bit earlier. Another thing that I would probably change on our end, or not change, but enhance the next time, is I communicated with the school superintendents. A couple of them were reaching out to me. Another one, I reached out to them. They were also wanting to stay in line with each other for the most part. You know, Eastern's a little different because they're so rural, but one of the superintendents came from another county, New Pal. She just started this year, and she said, we used to have conference calls with the Emergency Management Agency and all of the school superintendents from the county, and that's just not anything we've ever done. We've just, you know, communicated with them one-on-one, but I think that's a great idea, so that's something that I want to implement the next time. We're not going to tell them what to do, but they definitely take our recommendations. They want to know what we're doing too. Are we closing the offices? Are we anticipating going to a red level? You know, because if they know that a little bit ahead of time, that makes a difference for them too, because they start extremely early with their bus drivers and such. So that's something that I'll set up in advance, even when we're, you know, when we're having those conference calls with the state and National Weather Service. I can just make it a checklist thing that I'm setting up conference calls with them as well. So then after the storm was moving out, we slowly deactivated the EOC and the travel advisory, and we maintained at a yellow level with that weather that came in that following weekend too. Actually, the number of calls that following weekend on the 10th and 11th were higher than the ones on the 5th and 6th. The weather wasn't as bad, but it was a Friday. And of course, it was between 3 and 4 p.m. on Friday. So again, nothing outlandish, you know, that we weren't able to handle, but that's what made the difference. It was in the timing. One of the things that Janine and I talked about, that it triggered my memory when I was talking to her about all of this, was the last time, it's been several years ago, we had an impending weather storm. We had the commissioners, and I believe it was totally a different set of commissioners at the time, have this physical local emergency proclamation for a snow emergency form at their home, so that if we got to that point and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and we need to declare a snow emergency and go to that red level, you have this form at home already printed out, and you guys can sign it, take a picture of it, send it to us, because then we have to take that and upload it into the state system to be able to declare that red level. So I have some extra copies here if you want to hold on to those, make sure that it looks good.
Scott, how does that work to, like, on a burn ban, we come in and actually have a special, you know, an emergency
Oh,
meeting?
yeah.
Is it, how do we do that proclamation? Because that falls under the burn ban statute too, without holding a meeting. Is that something we can sign, put into effect to have a meeting later on?
It's an emergency proclamation, so you can do that and then just make sure it's documented
Okay.
subsequently, because otherwise you'd be hamstrung, you'd have to,
Right.
if it's declared, if it's an emergency, then you can
Right.
do it.
Well, nobody wants to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to come in and do any kind of meeting. But I think there's a way we could ratify that at a later time.
Could you do a digital form also and sign digitally and send back to Misty? Could they do that? Or does it have to be the paper form?
We could probably set it up as a PDF sign. I'd have to get, I don't have that level PDF, but we're gonna have to get that, to where they can.
I'm just
sign it
wondering if something they could save on their computers and sign it, so.
Which is what I'll probably do.
That's probably the,
Scan and save it as a PDF. so I
Yeah.
can sign by electronic signature.
probably the best way to do that.
Yeah, even if you just typed in Gary McDaniel via electronic signature. I think
Yeah.
that would, Scott, if we scan these to our desktops and made them PDFs, and could we go in an emergency situation in the middle of the night and just type in our name for simplicity by electronic signature or
Yeah,
whatever?
you can do electronic signature, for sure.
Well, most of us can.
Yes.
You
I
talking
guess
about
they
me
just have,
again?
you'd have both
You talking about me
options.
again?
If something
No, I
was
was
going
talking
on-
about me.
If something was going on with your computer, or your computer's not in your house or something, I guess you'd have both options
Yeah.
that way. But
Okay.
I'll have, Sarah's gonna send that to me, and then I can forward
Bottom
that
line,
to you as well.
Last case scenario, we can always sign it, shoot a picture of it
Yep.
to you.
Yep,
The form is in good order too, and it references the statute,
Yeah.
so.
okay.
Thank you.
We also have, and I just realized this last night, and so I'll email this to you now, our severe winter weather procedures. This was shared with the commissioners, but it's been quite a while. It's exactly pretty much everything that I just said that we did, with, you know, everything laid out, the contacts that are part of those decision-making groups, the media contact information. I'll email this to you, so that you have it.
Could you
And-
do this too? Could you get with Gary Poole? He uses a matrix as well, and I'm not sure if it's something Homeland Security would like to look at, because we were trying to make sure that we reserve the red for truly when it needed to be
Yeah.
red. And some of the things that it didn't hit the first night when people clamored, hey, you should be in red, were, when, you know, temperatures like today, below freezing, severe, or where the visibility was, you know, 0.
Yeah,
And maybe there's some kind of system that we can use as well with all the other input that we have to
Yeah.
just kind of clarify, hey, is this the right direction to go?
yeah. The state doesn't have anything like that for us. That's something that we, you know, just like with the tornado weather siren protocols, they're different in every county, and that's frustrating. That is something that we've brought up to the state. Can we all get on the same board and have
Yeah.
these matrix? So you know, we always rely on Gary a lot,
Yeah.
because he's got guys everywhere and knows what level we should be at. I think it will be extreme before we would ever go to red, especially, as you know, with the businesses, and we're making those decisions for them. So I think it probably wouldn't be a question if there's a major blizzard happening as to whether we should be in red, but I'll continue to push that there's something like that, and keep communicating with everyone, because I think it works out really well with the different people on the roads. We communicate with the police chief also, and the street department too, so that we're staying in tune with everyone that's in town, not just the county roads. So, yeah, I think that that is all. Do you have any other questions or suggestions for us?
No, I thought we handled it pretty well. The entities involved in those choices made the right choices for the people in our community and the workers here at all the county offices. Like you said, we're always going to do something probably where we can say, hey, we can do better next time. Let's
Always, yeah.
do some after action reports. That's always warranted. But for the most part, no, we just got to prepare for the next time, because the next time may be tomorrow, maybe next
Right.
week.
Right.
It's going to come, and this year with the winter we have, I mean, we've been in a lull for the last probably 3 or 4 years where we haven't had anything, and it's like, yeah, we're experiencing winter this year, so,
Yeah.
yeah, no, but you guys did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right.
Thanks for the update.
Rudy's here.
Rudy Nyland.
Good morning,
Hey, good morning.
Rudy Nyland and Alex Barnes with the coroner's office. All we are doing today is just doing a quick introduction.
The body snatchers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to just let you know that Dave Stillinger was a coroner for 8 years. He's left us in very good shape and a good relationship with both you guys and the commissioners and the county council, and I just wanted to give him some acknowledgement for that. 2 big changes that we're going to be doing a little bit different than what we've done last year is, one, we're going to have a county office. We are very thankful for that. I want to thank 3 different people for helping us out with that. Number 1, of course, Debbie Carnes with the auditor's office. They have really been helping us out with explaining how to do the invoices and the claims. We're going to do it like everyone else in the county. In the prior, it's been done a little bit differently, but we're going to do it just like all the other county offices, sharing a computer with them and doing it how they'd like us to do it. So, and they've also given us some surplus equipment to help get our office supplies started with desks, chairs, and especially filing cabinets. We have storage at the sheriff's department. We're going to move that into the county office, and we also have storage of specimens at the hospital that we will also be moving into the coroner's office. That's the other thank you I wanted to do was Penny Hunt with Community Corrections. She's done a very good job getting us our office and getting that going, and then also with Kelly with Human Resources. The coroner's office has always kind of been on the outside, and we want to be a county unit and respond with the same requests and requirements as the rest of the county. So she's helping us get that door open. So, we had 155 calls last year. We expect something like that, and we do about 53 autopsies last year. So we keep busy. We have 6 deputies. Sometime in the spring, we hope to hire another couple of deputies. And the other big change this year is we will be having an on-call program. So we will know, and hopefully the 911 center will know exactly who's on call. Of course, we have 911 alerting, so we all know there's a call, but we are going to have this all planned out. So far, it's working very well. Do you have anything you want to add?
Thank you.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Well, if you have any things that you need from us, please feel free to call any of us up here.
Understand. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Penny.
She's here.
I thought I saw her.
She's back there,
somewhere.
brother.
Yeah, she's
Oh.
back
Sheriff.
there.
Penny Hunt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morgan is unable to be here, so she asked me to come in her place. We would like to, well, first of all, Greg Shamblin, who has been with us for almost 30 years, is retiring. His last day is April 1st. So we will be replacing field officer. Morgan would like to have permission to overlap that position by 2 weeks, just so that some of that knowledge that Greg has from being in the position for 30 years can be passed on. We feel that that would be an invaluable training tool. So we would like to have permission to go ahead and hire that new person with a start date of March 17th.
Do you have that in your budget?
No, but it would come out of project income. We've got plenty of money to do that.
And they can hire somebody without creating a new spot for just a 2-week overlap.
That's never really been done.
Yeah.
It's more so recently, and just my personal opinion, I think it's valuable that,
Oh, yeah.
that you do have someone in your office that's able to train the new person.
Right.
As long as, the budgetary needs are met, I don't think,
You
there's
have
nothing,
you
I
have
don't think
plenty
there's
of
anything
money.
in your
No
policy
issue
handbook
there.
against it.
Okay.
Have you been to council to, do you need to go in front of council for that as well, because you're spending project income money, or?
If,
It's
I
already
don't believe, it's
appropriated.
already appropriated. I don't
So I
think
think
in
you're
the
good
end,
there.
we
Okay.
should be good, because even if we go a little bit over what we've allotted for that field officer position for this year, I can do a transfer from the part-time line to cover that.
You probably won't be bringing him in, this new person at what, your top guys leaving there?
Depends on what the experience is.
So, I think that they have money to work with.
Oh, they
It
do.
would be a council issue.
So she just wanted to get the permission from you all to do that, since it's not
To do the
a
2-week
straightforward
overlap.
replacement, it'll be the overlap is what she wanted the permission for.
I totally agree that
Yeah.
that should be done. You can't just have someone after 30 years walk out and have a new guy walk in, or a new
Right.
woman.
I make a motion that we allow the community corrections to hire the replacement for our field officer, 2 weeks ahead of his retirement.
Second.
Well, it's been moved and seconded that we allow community corrections to hire a field officer 2 weeks prior to Greg Shamblin's retirement. Any discussion?
Just a question, don't you have, I just thought of the salary ordinance.
Mhm.
Do you have a vacant position on your salary ordinance already that you didn't fill from previous?
That's a
Do you
good
have a
question. I don't
part-time-
remember.
Do you have a part-time position that's
We have
not-
part-time position on the
it's not
salary
full?
ordinance, correct.
So we could put him in as part-time for 2 weeks, and then we'd be okay with the salary ordinance.
Okay,
So-
as long as all the benefits and everything are good, that's the only,
We may need to look into the salary
I think we
ordinance.
need to look into
Okay.
that, because if we classify them for 2 weeks as part-time, that,
Mhm.
I don't think that the benefits would,
I can look at
I-
and see if we've
That
got
would
an
be the only thing, we
empty.
might have to go, if you give the approval, we can go to, then we would wanna go to the council just to get, a salary ordinance and then
Okay.
the approval.
I'll
So we
double check
can
and make
give-
sure we don't have an open one.
Give her an approval with a favorable recommendation to go to the council and get that
Yes.
salary
Okay.
recommendation. Do we need to change modify our motion then?
You can just decide to you're making a favorable recommendation.
Okay.
I amend our motion to make a favorable recommendation to council to allow the hiring of a new replacement 2 weeks ahead of Greg Shamblin's retirement.
second.
It's been moved and seconded that we allow community corrections to hire field officer positions 2 weeks ahead of Greg Shamblin's retirement. We give that position favorable recommendation so they can go before the council and ask for such person. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. The second item I have for you, at our advisory board meeting, our first advisory board meeting of the year, we do have 3 replacement positions that are supposed to be appointed by you all. The first one would be Jake Owens in the position of juvenile probation officer. The second is Amanda Everidge as the mental health administrator. And those are positions that they've been coming to meetings. That is the recommendation of the advisory board on those 2 positions. And then Tammy Suttergren was appointed by the council. You all have to per statute, you all have to officially appoint her as well. So we would like to get those official appointments made if we could, please.
I move that we appoint Jake Owens.
Yes,
And
Amanda.
Amanda
Amanda
Everidge.
Everidge,
And
Tammy
as
Tammy
well
Sedgren.
as Tammy Sedgren as an appointment from council to the Community Corrections Advisory Board.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the appointment of Jake Owens, Amanda Everidge, and Tammy Sedgren, the council body appointment to the Community Corrections Advisory Board as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Penny.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm gonna hold just a second. I need to go cough a bit.
Okay.
So that I didn't think about that salary ordinance until.
Actually, what I've seen in the past, they couldn't do that because you had to create a position.
Yeah, but she's gonna, she does have some flexibility with that part-time position. Yes, in one of those stores. Should. It's, maybe it is something that the policy. Yeah, it's not.
Good morning, Jane. Thank you.
Gene, you did that, didn't you? They let you hire somebody to train somebody? When Janice left, you did hire somebody before she left? I can't remember now. There's definitely a need for it. There's a need for it.
That should be a standard practice, really, when we're replacing long-time positions.
It's just difficult with state and county
Is
salary
it?
ordinance and then the salary ordinance and the positions that you already have set.
There's more where those came from, too.
Oh. Hey, can I ask you something? Are you okay with, I know that you were talking about, business furniture as your personal preference for the business furniture or the furniture pick for, amplifier. Would you have any problem going with commercial office
These guys aren't gonna be
environments?
anybody. You might
Or
wanna
that
make
was
sure it's all
Janine's
as well.
choice and,
You like them also? I don't mind.
okay, okay. I don't know if we need to do that, then we can do it at the end of this meeting. You don't have to stick around, but we can motion that that's who that would be. Okay. Okay. Commercial office environments, they will be the furniture for the, provider for the amplifier. Okay. Okay. Where did Jane go? We still gotta.
She. Mel, is that her back here?
She's in the back row.
She's in the very back. I think we gotta wait a couple minutes to get her on.
Yeah. I make a motion to approve claims and payroll.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. We approve claims and payroll as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Auditors of business.
I just have a few things. That's James, sorry. So we've got, an agreement for Baker Tilly, I believe this is for RDC, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, this is for what they're doing with Amplify.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll need this, I think, a signature on that. I don't know if Scott's seen it or not.
I think I sent him a copy of that.
It's, you copied me and him.
Did I?
Sent it to him, copied me.
Okay.
I think he responded.
Did he respond?
I thought he did.
Okay.
I saw him respond to one email anyway, so. Make a motion
Then just make a
Pending.
motion
pending, council approval
for, yeah.
for Baker Tilly and
Yeah.
for Amplify.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agreement for investment advisory services with Baker Tilly concerning Amplify Hancock, as presented pending, county legal review. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
You have another one?
Well, not the same thing, but we'll need that signed by Bill for the license plates for the vehicle for solid waste.
I make a motion that we allow Council President Bill Spalding to sign for an application for registration for the Purdue Extension
Solid waste.
Solid Waste Administrator.
Second.
What was that again, Gary?
Solid Waste Administrator.
So we
It's
are
a
approving
approving
the-
the registration.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. We approve the registration for Dee Dee Allender at Solid Waste for them to receive a vehicle as presented with the last four of the VIN being 9100. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 The next thing Gary has is just,
Motion
you've got an
passes.
account.
Aye. Yes, I'm okay. Be aware that we are need to budget transfer or request.
Yeah, just on the legal services line, we might need to keep an eye on that, do a budget transfer or ask for an additional appropriation soon.
So you don't need it yet?
We don't need it now, I just wanted you guys to be aware of that.
Okay.
And then,
I think we're gonna have to increase that not only for his, but there's some other things that we're gonna need to increase that line with.
yeah. And then the last thing, I know that we've kind of discussed this, but, we've got the vehicle that we've removed from, Beth Engel's budget, drug court. We haven't removed it yet, but we've got it there for the leased vehicle. That payment is $962 a month, basically. She has that in her budget line. We need to decide who's gonna pick that vehicle up so that we can put that money in their budget.
I think the planning department,
That's what I
because
thought.
they need a vehicle to go out and do their,
Inspections?
yeah, yes.
So is that, do we have a motion for that? Is that your decision?
Did we already motion or something? What did we motion for?
I don't think we motioned for this lease vehicle to go to the planning department.
I don't know that this is just the numbers, that's just
Okay.
the,
Make a motion to transfer vehicle,
yeah, I would just say their
vehicle from,
the drug court.
drug court to be transferred to, I'm losing it.
Planning commission.
Planning Department, as presented, and it is a 2022 Ford F-150, and vehicle number 26JFRH. What it looks like. As
Second.
presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we transfer the lease vehicle from drug court to planning department. The vehicle transferred. Where'd you find that VIN?
Right there. That's the only number we got.
Is 26JFRH as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
The only other thing
You don't
I
need a
just
signature or anything?
No, we can use the minutes to do that, but
Okay.
we'll have to go to council just to determine if we're gonna utilize that full amount. If we're gonna defund that full amount in her account, because she still has a vehicle, I think, that she'll pay some maintenance and, fuel out of. but
To
I'm not-
Beth Engel.
Yeah, I just have to look at that a little bit more, but we'll make that de-appropriation and reappropriation through council.
Right. They probably will with the one that Gary is, O'Neill's
Yeah,
gonna
so I'm not
drive.
real sure, I think, and fuel may be coming out of your budget, so I need to check on that, but
Okay.
I'll keep you posted on
Okay.
that. Thank
So
you.
then we'll need to recess this meeting and we'll call to order the meeting of the Board of Finance.
Make a motion to recess our meeting for the Board of Finance meeting.
Second.
It's Been moved and seconded. We recess our meeting for the Board of Finance meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes, and I'll call to order the meeting of the Board of Finance.
Okay.
Miss Jane Clemmy, you wanna come up?
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, I want to apologize for not getting you the information before, but I didn't get it completed. I've been out ill, so in the green folder of U3, you have some different information that we usually go over, but our first order of business is that the Board of Finance is U3 of the commissioners and then myself. So we need to nominate a president, and then we also need to nominate a secretary, and I am usually the secretary.
Okay, so the president of the commissioners, I think, is usually the president per year. At least that's been the tradition of how
It
that's
doesn't
done.
have to be, but it usually is.
So make a motion to appoint Bill Spalding, President of the Board of Finances.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Commissioner President Bill Spalding, President of the Board of Finance. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And I'll
Make a motion to appoint Jean Gray to the Board of Finance.
No,
as a-
it's just to appoint.
Secretary.
Oh,
We need
just-
a
okay.
secretary.
As the secretary.
Okay, I make a motion to appoint Jane Clemmy
Clemmy. It's Clemmy.
as Secretary of the Board of Finance.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. We appoint Jane Clemmy as the secretary of the Hancock County Board of Finance. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Before we do the investment policy and that you have in front of you, it's the typical investment policy that we've had for several years. Actually, last year I looked into changing it, but this covers it all. I had contacted different counties to see what they had, and it's basically the same. Every 4 years, we have to do the statement of investment policy, which is standard. And that investment policy is good till December 31st of 2028, which ends my term. But before we do that, you should have in front of you, I always give you a list of the banks. We didn't close any this year, we did last year, but those are our standard banks that we have in front of you. The 6 different banks. Also, the next paper you'll see is the investment securities. We had been working with the State Board of Accounts. When I came in, there was a finding, and Janice and I and the State Board of Accounts and STAR have worked, and the last portfolio bond that they had matured on the 1st of March of last year. So our current balance is $30,162,246.63. And that's all that I have invested right now. So we had to wait till those. I think I explained it all last year, but that's where we're at, and we're good to go with the State Board of Accounts, and I'm glad it's over. Then the next paper that you have in front of you just is for the last 3 years that I've been here, including this year, gives you the interest amount from the general account, the Trust Indiana account, and the RDC First Merchant account, and you can see how we've increased each year. I did 21 through 24. And the very last page that we'll go over, which we usually discuss, you'll see to the right in red, since I have a new printer, I can make it red. The general, when it says general fund interest, a lot of people ask me what's in the general fund. Well, everything that's in red that you're looking at is the general fund. That's the interest that I put in each month for the general fund. And then you can see we have others. So the interest in each of the checking accounts totaled $3,159,242.44, and of course all that goes into the general fund. you can find the general fund interest on the left-hand side down at the bottom. And the total of the general fund interest this year was $5,597,502.56. The interest rates stayed, they didn't drop until, they started maybe a little bit in September until October and November. But otherwise, they stayed at the 5.1. So that's why we exceeded again, once again this year, how much interest we put in. Also, the general money fund from Trust Indiana goes into the general fund. And then our Star investment account, which I had just talked about, that goes into the general fund. So that $5,597,502.56 makes that up. Then we also have interest from the drain maintenance, the general drain improvement, and the recorder's perpetuation fund. And you can see the interest on those to the right. The total amount was $1,066,463.29. At the very bottom, I didn't have any certificates because there wasn't, to go out and bid, the amount was less than what we were getting for in the checking account this time. So that's why you don't see any investments. The First Merchants, RDC, interest this year was $274,944.28. And then if you go down on the left-hand side, the total interest banking accounts, the Trust Indiana was $1,066,463, and the Star Investment and the First Merchant that I just mentioned in the general fund. So that's sort of what I invest, and what we do every year is look at this interest sheet to see where we are. So you can see the sheet before that shows you the increase each year, which has helped.
Do they need to adopt your policy by motion?
Yeah, so we need to do the two different policies, the Hancock County investment policy.
Okay, I make a motion, we actually approve the Hancock County, Indiana investment policy as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adopt the Hancock County investment policy as presented by our treasurer. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
I make, go ahead.
On the statement of investment policies, you need a.
Yep.
Yes, please.
I move that we approve the statement of investment policy for the Hancock County Treasurer for 2025 through
Second.
2028.
Second.
2028. Okay. It's been moved and seconded. We adopt the statement of investment policy presented by our treasurer from January of 2025 until December 31 of 2028. Is that it, as presented?
That is correct.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And then the only other thing is, I'll tell you that we've been doing, Scott and I are still working on the animal control. He's helped. We've pulled some money in that way. We have our ASCF, which is our delinquent mobile homes and personal property that we do monthly. We've set up now to transfer surplus yearly, and that goes to the general fund, and we transferred this year $33,085. So we'll do that continuously now. It probably won't be as much. There were 2 years in this one, but we're gonna start doing that yearly also. We had certified 57 tax sales, had 16 for sale and sold 11. So we brought in $402,430.22. And I think that's it, unless you have questions for me.
I don't have anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Do you
you.
need to close that?
I
Make-
will get this typed up and hopefully bring it back down to you before. I am going to give you this, that you will sign the motion, and because that goes in a book also. The other thing, real quick, is, should I wait or should?
Let's have them close it and then ask for a
Okay,
moment.
okay.
I make a motion, we close the the Board of Finance meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We close the Board of Finance meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And if I could have a moment, I just received something the other day in my inbox, and the town of Cumberland wants stormwater utility to be added to the tax bills. And Scott, I'm gonna need your help on that. I talked to Debbie this morning, we're going to meet. They have mimicked a policy from Marion County, and there's fees in there, and I'm not quite sure if we can collect and do all that. So even if we can do that, but I wanted you to know that's on the radar, so. Did you wanna?
No, I just thought, this is something that would definitely put a burden on our office, and of course, we're gonna check into with State Board of Accounts.
Yeah, I was just about to say State Board of Accounts.
We will be checking on that, but we do need to kind of, we will have to have, I think, a little bit of processes and things like that in place if, in fact, we're to be managing this for them. Being that they have their own municipality, I would think that they could handle that, but we'll be looking into it. This came about a while back, and then it just kind of faded away, but now it's.
I actually contacted the State Board of Accounts to try to help them, and they told them they couldn't help them. And now, then today, I just got all this. I thought it had gone, you know, they weren't gonna do it, so, but they're moving on it, so.
Okay, good.
We just thought that you might want to be aware of it and other things that are potentially happening.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jane, that was a great report.
Well, yeah, any report that shows us making money and not losing money is a good report.
Very good.
We're doing well. So
Okay.
we will reconvene our commissioner meeting,
What
but
about the water and
we
sewer?
will, is Dan Strahl here? Is,
What about the daughter?
let's move the Daughters of the American Revolution, if you would like to come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cherie Burrow, and I serve as the Vice Regent or Vice President and Chair of Commemorative Events for our local Brandywine Creek chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. Now, if you don't know, the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, is a non-political, lineage-based organization for women who directly descend from a patriot of the American Revolutionary War. And the purpose of the DAR is to promote education, historic preservation, and patriotism. We do that here locally. We visit our local schools here in the county, presenting during Constitution Week the preamble and information about the U.S. Constitution, as well as for our third year, we've given free lunch during the week of Veterans Day to Hancock County veterans. The DAR is actively celebrating America's upcoming semi-quincentennial, or 250th birthday. Now that occurs next July 4th, 2026. However, Congress created a commission in 2014 to prepare for this special birthday. How fortunate are we all, as lovers of history, to live in a county named for John Hancock. Not only was he a Revolutionary War patriot and a founding father, as legend has it, he signed his name so large and clearly that the King of England could see it without his spectacles. So we live here in a county that so revered John Hancock that a bronze bust was commissioned during the Centennial Courthouse Commission in 1996. Our chapter is here this morning to present you, commissioners, with an America 250 flag. It is our hope, and I am joined by Jan Jarson and our regent, Bonnie Wooten. We hope that you may fly it at the courthouse during the 4th of July next year. We will continue celebrating through 2028, this 250th birthday. So we would love to take a photo. In the DAR, we say, if a photo doesn't exist, it didn't happen. So we'd love to present you with this flag. Someone went to.
Let's,
Here, have another spot.
can we raise up the screen so we can get There's a descendant of Patrick Henry that lives over on 200 North in between 525 West and 600 West.
That's my guy.
Come on up here. It has to be.
Yeah. If you look really good with that.
I'm gonna get Geneva here on that.
In front of your Hancock County Commissioners, like, there you go. Except one in the pocket.
Just find you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful.
You wanna stand in here?
Come on, you're in.
Can you get everybody?
Are we all squished in?
Looks great, guys. Okay, we wanna change poses or?
I just would so appreciate if you used my phone.
Sure.
So I can get that to the state DAR right away. Thank you very much.
Hold that way.
I'm not even turning it around and taking a picture of myself enough. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the flash. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us this morning. I appreciate it.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Now, I usually know what I do the road.
Yeah, okay.
Can do. So good to see Kendall.
We got a meeting tonight then.
Go home, stay warm.
Yeah. Don't get too cold.
Chair back.
So while we wait, you gotta call into Mr. Straw to see where he.
That's what I just asked him, he had his phone number.
Can you find the email? I bet he has it on the, it's not on the bottom, yeah. I'll send you guys that picture as well.
I don't have his number in here.
That's a good picture.
You gonna send us those pictures?
I am going to, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of some of the paperwork that's in front of you.
Meanwhile.
Oh, boy. It's one of those days.
I got plenty more.
John Jaconis.
That's never a good sign. No tie.
That's a good sign, that means
Right.
it's not asking
Very
for money.
good sign.
Yeah, never said I wasn't asking for money. I mean, just didn't wear a tie today.
Oh.
I was afraid it was gonna freeze to my neck, so. Just a couple quick items. I had everything. I was obviously got involved in a conversation with the sheriff's department back there, so I apologize. There we go. The first thing we had was the updating of the 911 Operations Board ordinance, which adds as non-voting members the HR director and the Fire Mutual Aid Association president, who is currently Brandon Klein. Again, that would be non-voting members, and that was all. I'm not sure why we didn't include that, the fire side on the first time. I believe you have the updated ordinance, I hope. Maybe.
What are we looking for? I didn't see it.
So we're looking for the updated board member.
Ordinance.
The ordinance,
Yeah, should be 2021.
I've got the
4B.
2021 4B
Yep.
right here.
21 4B.
We missed it at the
Ordinance
end of
right
the
here.
year.
We need a motion. Make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2021-4B, an ordinance of the Hancock County Board of Commissioners authorizing 911 Center Operations Board.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 2021-4B, an ordinance of the Hancock County Board of Commissioners authorizing the 911 Center Operations Board. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Then, something else that came up, we used to have a policy board, and that was under ordinance 3218, which you don't have in front of you. That ordinance was supposed to be removed in 2021 when we initially did, or when we did the 2021-4B, the operations board. And that was an agreement with all the police departments, fire departments, that we could do away with that and combine, because we had this sort of operations board, and then we had this one. There were actually two ordinances. Then we just crushed them all into one to make things easier and one less meeting for a lot of people, so.
Was there a motion made to do that by the present commissioner, or not us, but I mean former commissioners?
You know what? I don't know.
To
I don't-
dissolve your board?
To the
To
policy
dissolve that
board.
policy.
The policy board, yeah.
So do you want us to do that now, or?
That's, I mean, that's,
But we
Why don't
need
we-
to combine the operations
no,
and the
that's
policy
already
board.
done.
It's already done.
That was done in
Okay.
2021.
Okay.
Dissolve the ordinance, but we would amend it to say no longer in
They
effect or
created a whole
something.
new one.
Yeah, but you still have to reference that previous ordinance. We just don't,
It
they
should
just
have
don't go
happened
away.
when the new one was created.
Yeah.
It should have said this supersedes this prior one. I don't know if that happened or not.
I don't,
Do we want to make a motion to make it supersede, or what?
I mean,
It should have been
it's up
done
to
at the
you guys.
time it was enacted, but
Yeah.
I think you could do it retroactively.
Do you have that original ordinance number?
32.18. There were several other,
3218.
Numbers.
Yeah.
That's not an ordinance.
I'm sorry. So I don't know what it was changed to originally in 2007. It was 2007-3B, passed in March of 2007. Then it was amended in 2016. It was 2016-11A, which was passed in November of 2016. And then I'm not sure that there was an update done after that.
Well, the 2016 amendment, did that vacate the one from 2007?
I don't, it just says amended.
Can
we
you,
research that?
Yeah, research that and bring it back to us.
I can try. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get back to.
We can help you
research.
find
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
And then if you say in 2021, you came in on the board, so we'll have the minutes.
Yeah.
And we can try to figure out what happened with that, if an ordinance
Okay.
was or was not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because if there was a motion to do it, it's already done.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, if an ordinance ever got created that amended these previous
Right.
two or whatever, but we'll double check and see where we're at on
It
it.
would have said something like superseded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will help you
Should.
find that, John,
Okay,
how's
I
that?
appreciate that. I think a nice, let's see here. We have started working on our job descriptions in order to not have to, we were a little shocked at the amount of money that they wanted for that, and so we've started, those are gonna, the initial 4, their specialty positions, just to get a good start. They're going to be in Kelly's hands in the next 24 hours. So we've obviously been able to structure these specifically. We may still have someone do my job description, as well as the shift supervisors, because really my job description, the deputy director position can fall off of that one pretty easily, and then the assistant supervisors can fall off the shift supervisor one. So, but again, we were a little shocked about that, that amount of money. The radio MOUs went out yesterday as planned, and I poured over that thing again and again and again. And so, I haven't heard anything back from anybody yet, so, but I'm sure we will. So, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was just the Purdue Extension office for the quote for cameras and door access, which I believe you have in front of you. I don't have a quote yet from IT department for the network switch. This would,
Nelson Alarm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this would give that building 360-degree camera coverage, as well as, more importantly, camera coverage on that cardboard dumpster.
We got two different.
Yeah, we're not
Nelson
gonna talk
Alarm.
about the 123, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're just gonna do the,
Oh, okay.
the,
There we go.
Purdue extension, and
Okay.
that would be paid
So-
out of the 2022 BGO bond.
If it's something that you're ready to discuss, then I'm more than happy to, like I said, it includes some couple door access readers as well, and it's, the building, we wanna try to secure that building as much as possible, cause they're kinda just,
Yeah.
I don't wanna say in the middle of nowhere, but.
Well, it is the furthest out probably on
Yeah.
the perimeter of all
Yep.
of our county buildings, and
And-
people come over there to use that
Yeah.
cardboard dump all
Yes.
the time, so you just don't know who else may.
I know
wanna
there was a
come over
question
there.
about internet.
Well, that's what I'm waiting, I'm just waiting on, the quote for the network switch, but that'll be a separate quote from this one here. This would allow us to actually start to get all the heavy work done. And then the question would become is, I don't remember, Bernie and I talked about it last time about who would be paying the network, the fiber bill, basically, to get it back to our building. So, and that was around $200 because we're processing video, so it needs to come across at a faster rate, so. But we can hit those two things once we get that other quote. If you want to hold off on doing this one, we can. Like I said, I just wanted to get this portion of it started because this is the most
Do you have a problem with it?
cumbersome
I don't.
Janine?
portion of it,
In
so.
my opinion, I mean, we ought to try to do what we can to get all these buildings with access readers and cameras as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And this will also, the access readers will actually help them for their nighttime meetings, because there's, of the things they have to do in order to have people, or get people access that building at night for these meetings.
I
is-
drove by there the other night and it was just pitch black and there was all
Yeah.
kinds of cars out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and, I mean, that was, there's other people who use that parking lot for other things apparently in the middle of the night, so.
Yeah.
we just-
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve this quote 9137 for controller, power supply, network interface reader, Madlock, and equipment for the Purdue Extension at 972 East Park Avenue in Greenfield, Indiana, for a price not to exceed $20,777.
To be paid
Second.
for out of
Yeah,
the
be paid for out of the
2022
2022 GO bond.
Second. Right, you got that,
I
Janine.
got that.
Yep. It's been moved and seconded that we accept this equipment sales agreement from Nelson Alarm, quote number 9137, for the Hancock County Purdue Extension Office at 972 East Park Avenue in Greenfield for card readers, cameras, and other miscellaneous items associated with such an amount not to exceed $20,777 to be paid for out of the 2022 BGO bond. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes.
Whose signature do you need?
What's that?
Whose
think
signature? Just his?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all, right there.
I know they thank you for this. So I was happy that I was able to get involved with them and to, present this for them, so. Then I sent my official email. You're all on it for the budget committee meeting in a couple weeks to talk about the Lucas
And
devices. and-
You're not talking about this one.
I am not talking about that one.
That's Bernie, eh?
No, that's.
That's one of yours.
We had a discussion about not talking about that one.
Okay.
Just
So,
hold until we can get that
Till
whole thing
later.
cleared up.
Okay,
anything for me?
Thank you.
thank
Good.
you.
All right, thank you
No,
so much.
Thanks, John. Still waiting for Dan Straw. Is Alice Hedden here? Alice, do you
Yeah.
want to come on up?
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Hedden, Hancock County Arts, and I'm just here to request the use of the front steps in the courthouse for our plein air on June 7th from probably 7:30 in the morning till about 3. We have a plein air that we've had 2 out of the last 3 years on the courthouse steps, and it's easy for our artists to find. Artists are a little scatterbrained, but they can see us. I've given you our plans there for what we want to do 2025. It's kind of the same thing we've done before, and then there's some photos from last year and our flyer from last year. So I'm just here to request, June 7th is, we started that because it was the longest yard sale in the world. And then this year is a mini marathon that some people are putting together here along Pennsy Trail. And so there's going to be a lot of activity. What we do, we invite artists from throughout the region, throughout Indiana and around the surrounding states too. We usually have about 30, and it turns out very well. We have yard signs that we have the artists take. This last year we went to a lot of the parks throughout Greenfield Park Department, and they let us go in, and artists painted. And we have a juror come in. Last year he was from Cincinnati. He judged these paintings and also the Will Vaughter Awards that we do in June also. So I'm just asking for use of your steps for the courthouse.
Do we have any sign off on that, or we know if anybody's going to use it at that point?
I don't know that we do a waiver of liability for the steps, or that we ever have. I mean, we certainly can do that. I would leave that to Scott.
We haven't done it previously.
Probably should.
Could the Hancock County Arts provide us with a certificate of insurance? That way, if they're up there,
Certainly.
it would cover
Yep.
our liability.
We can do that.
And you can just send that to the auditor's office.
Okay.
Question, is it Saturday, June 8th or Saturday,
Oh.
June 7th?
June 8th was last year. It's
Okay.
June 7th this year.
Okay, that's your last year's flyer.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
you did say that.
That's all right.
Can I ask a question? Could you do it, just explain what plein air is for our minutes?
Sure. Plein air is outdoor painting. It's the French word for painting outside. So, yeah, we have some great artists. And so if you'd like to see some great art that afternoon. Afterwards, the artists last year also, we had the art exhibited at the Hancock County Community Foundation, the Community Foundation of Hancock County now, and for the month. So it was wonderful work.
Great, well,
I would make a motion that we allow the Hancock County Arts Council to use the steps of the courthouse on Saturday, June 7th, 2025, from approximately 7:30 in the morning until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And they will provide a certificate of insurance to the auditor's office prior to the event.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded that we approve the request from the Hancock County Arts Council to use the courthouse steps on Saturday, June 7th from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. as requested, pending the deposit of their certificate of insurance with the auditor's office. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dan Strong just called Sarah, so she stepped out to take that call.
Okay.
Okay, now, as far as the granting the access to the courthouse lawn and all that, do we have anything that we don't double book there?
Sarah keeps track of
Oh,
that
does
on
she?
her calendar. Rich, Bill and I were talking this weekend, I think maybe we might, extend like view access in case you get a call. The thing is, if Sarah's gotten a call, you've gotten a call, we've made other arrangements, even if you've been looking at it, you might wanna say, you know, let me double check, but we're gonna talk about that later today on kind of some of those accesses
Okay.
for Memorial Building, and that's a good example of something that I hadn't thought about before, is the yard out there, but everyone comes to you and it's in your meeting, so we kind of keep track of that on
Okay.
our calendar.
Thank you.
Sarah, what did you hear from Mr. Straw?
He overlooked it on his calendar and he'll be here in 20 minutes.
Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
Next up on our agenda is a Community Corrections Prosecutors update from Envoy, Jonathan White and Wendy Mersley. Okay,
Good morning. My name is Jonathan White. I'm the Vice President of Construction Operations for Envoy. This is Blendy Marcelli. He is Pre-Construction Manager for Envoy. And we are here this morning to present the next deliverable in our previously executed public-private agreement for BOT, Build, Operate, Transfer for both Prosecutor's Office renovation and Community Corrections renovation. As I mentioned, this is just the next deliverable. Due to our agreement, this is a guaranteed maximum price value, which means a not to exceed, a ceiling amount, not to exceed of each of these respective projects. Once you get those documents,
Good morning. How are you doing?
I think it's important to review the actual price, and I can state it once you get the document.
Which one are we gonna talk about first?
Let's do Prosecutor's Office,
Okay.
please.
Thank you. Good morning.
So page 5, you'll see this multicolored chart. Previously approved and sold bonds for each respective project were at $5 million, so I'm pleased to show you the initial project here for Prosecutor's Office has a GMP value of $1,451,600, which is well under their $5 million allocated amount. The next step for both of these, upon approval, there'll be an amendment generated to our PPA, which will make this the number, right? The PPA is the scope of services to be provided for each of these projects. We'll then give an amendment with the value in this report as an attachment. The next step will then submit to the city all the design documents required to get approval from Dan Miller to get a permit and begin. We have already submitted both of these projects to the state, and we're awaiting their approval here in the next week or two. So there's some language within this report that will itemize scope, talks through some qualifications, has a proposed schedule as well, way back on page 12. Per previous correspondence with the commissioners, we were mentioning late first quarter start for this renovation project. We're still showing that late March, maybe early April start with a duration of 4 months.
That looks good.
Mhm.
I think people can get excited that this
Yes,
is
yes.
Finally.
July.
Finally here.
Finally.
Right.
Finally here. It's just been a couple years.
Right.
It also indicates all the drawings that were provided in the design as well as all the specifications. So it's kind of a detailed report. Give you a second to peruse that, see if you have any initial questions. This is supplied as a draft. Again, just in case there's clarifications or more information requested, we can add that to that when we supply the final version, which will be the attachment to the amendment to the PPA.
Do they need to be done separate, or can we approve both drafts for?
You do it separately, but do you have enough time to review it, or do you?
Well, they did send it forward last.
And this is just a draft, so.
Yeah.
Right, we can do it, we can do each separately, then pending legal review, but at least they can submit these drafts to the city, and the city can move forward to do what they need to do.
And just a point of clarification there, the city requirements for the finance, again, this is your guaranteed maximum price, so this is an all-inclusive number. There are different financial metrics that we have to submit to the city, which are a lesser value than this, but
Right.
it was appropriate to
But the
get
bottom line
approval.
is not going to change.
This number will never increase unless the client, you add scope to the project.
Okay.
Okay, so I would take a motion on the
Okay.
first.
I move that we accept the GMP report draft from Envoy regarding the Hancock County Prosecutor's renovation project dated January 20th, 2025, in the proposed cost of $1,451,600, not to exceed, and per legal review and presentation of the amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the GMP report draft from Envoy for the Prosecutor's Office in Hancock County, dated January 20th, 2025. Guaranteed max price and amount not to exceed $1,451,600, to be approved pending legal review and submitted to the city for follow-up.
For permit, yep.
Or for permit, sorry. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
Does this need any kind of signature on it, or?
No, that'll come with the amendment to the
Okay.
PPA.
Right.
The second project is Community Corrections Renovation Project. Similar document, same designer, so same information has been provided. Page 5 again shows the cost summary. This is a guaranteed maximum price value of $3,725,592. Clearly, it's just more robust working environment with a fully hardened facility. Again, listing specific qualifications, specific scope requirements throughout the document. Page 13 is a proposed project schedule, also trying to align beginning construction in late first quarter, so March of this year, possibly early April. Construction duration of 6 months for this renovation.
That is great, so.
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the Hancock, the Community Corrections Renovation Project draft report for GMP between Hancock County and Envoy, in a price not to exceed $3,725,592 as presented, pending legal review.
Second. Oh, sorry, you go ahead. I'm just. Yeah.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Community Corrections renovation report done by Envoy for the GMP report, or it's a draft GMP report. The guaranteed max price is not to exceed $3,725,592, pending legal review, and upon legal review submitted to the City of Greenfield for permitting. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's after 9:30,
We can do the
discuss.
safe, right? So just a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the regular commissioners meeting,
Don't we want recess?
recess.
Second, it's been moved and seconded that, sorry.
Nope,
Yeah,
you're
that
good.
we recess our meeting for an unsafe building hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. And then Scott Williams will call you up and we will,
Usually, Bill, I try to kind of officiate these
okay,
Okay.
for everybody's
Okay.
benefit, so I'll try to do that again today.
okay.
So we'll try to kind of follow similar rules of procedure we would if we were over at the courthouse. Do we know whether the respondent is here?
I'm not sure.
Let's ask for that first, see who's present for the hearing.
Engelbrecht?
Is Susan Engelbrecht here?
Let the record reflect that the respondent, Susan Engelbrecht, is not present for the hearing, which was scheduled for 9:30 this morning, January 21st, 2025. It is now 9:35. Why don't we go ahead and proceed, though? All those individuals knowing themselves to provide testimony or evidence today can be sworn in. And Mr. Williams, are you planning on calling any other witnesses, or is it just yourself?
It's just myself today.
Okay, you solemnly swear to tell the truth and the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. You may call your first witness.
Okay, well, this is unsafe building hearing on the Susan Engelbright property located at 2463 West, 200 South. I believe you all received a packet with some photos in it. This house has been in disrepair since around 2010. They had an interior house fire, and there's been no repairs done on it since. And in that time, there's been multiple zoning violations dating back to 2019. There's many people, many times have dumped furniture and just miscellaneous garbage on the property. So that's a continuous problem that the zoning department has to go through. The weed department, they just released a lien here recently in '24, so they've been involved also. And then as far as the house itself, as you can see, it's in disrepair. The back door is now hanging open. There's a large hole in the front of where the front door was, but it's boarded up. Now there's a large hole allowing for, weather and wildlife to get inside. We've got some missing shingles, gutters are falling off, and the yard's overgrown with trees. So it's just been a blight on the neighborhood for many years.
So what happens next? Are you going to tear it down or what? I mean,
Well, at this hearing today, if you guys as the hearing authority agree with my order, then yes, then we will move forward to demolish it ourselves, since
and then you put a lien on the property?
and then we put a lien on the property to reimburse the cost, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, can you identify for the record what you presented to the board of commissioners that they have in front of them?
Yeah.
It appears they have photographs and other information. So can you state for the record what that document is?
Of the photographs?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me right now, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lots of
You've got pictures, you've got violation notices and all that.
It's photos, and then it's all the
Scott,
legal
there's been a request that
information.
everybody speak into the
All the legal
microphones.
information that they follow through.
Yeah. Say thank you with the code. So why don't you just identify this as Exhibit A,
Okay, so, yeah,
this document? and
the
then
photos then would be Exhibit A.
Put in the record what is contained in Exhibit A.
Okay, Exhibit A is photographic evidence of the house, showing that it's boarded up, and it shows the hole in the front door, and then also there's photographs of debris that had been left in the yard
And these pictures are taken by the zoning, planning and zoning department.
And it appears there's some other correspondence here. And by the way, let the record reflect that I believe Ms. Engelbrecht is present in the courtroom. Yes. She's present. But it appears there's a notice of order dated November 25th, 2024. That is from you, correct?
That is correct. That was the initial notice that was sent to Ms. Engelbright.
And you also attached publisher's claim, which shows that this was advertised in the Daily Reporter, is that right?
That's correct.
Was there any response on the November 25th, 2024?
I did have a phone conversation with Ms. Engelbright, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And it appears there's additional correspondence, May 16th, 2022.
Now, what those are, I was showing the zoning violations that were dating back to 2019, I believe. Yeah, I've got one on May 16th of 22, one on August 19th of 2020, one on June 10th of 2019. Now, to date, those have all been, that any fines that zoning levied have been paid, so those have been resolved.
So what's been her response whenever you've talked to her?
Well, she had mentioned the one time I talked to her that, you know, she does want to repair it and like to rebuild.
Is it repairable?
I've not had a chance to get inside and look. I don't know what's inside.
We have the burden of proving that it's an unsafe building. So can you tell the board commissioners, other than obvious photographic evidence you provided, what else about this particular residence is it your assertion meets that standard?
Well, the house is uninhabitable the way it stands. If there's, you know, there's no windows on the house. There's, again, everything's open to the weather.
Are there utilities ran through?
There's no utilities hooked up. Yeah, it's uninhabitable right now.
And it's open?
There are spots open, yeah. It looked like it had been boarded up since the fire, but then since then, you know, like I said, the back door's hanging open, there's missing shingles, there's that big hole in the front.
Does she understand it's gonna be tore down?
I believe she does. I mean, she's here.
She's gonna have an opportunity.
Yep.
Okay.
Was there any further evidence you wish to present?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Ms. Albrecht?
Ms. Engelbrecht.
Put on some testimony. You approach the podium. I want to swear you in. So you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And please state your name for the record.
Susan Engelbrecht.
Can you pull that a little closer to you? Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Susan Engelbrecht.
And you're present today for the hearing that was scheduled, and are you prepared to provide some evidence or testimony?
I guess mostly testimony, but some of the evidence you apparently already have.
Please proceed.
Okay. Some of the things like the mowing, if you read the thing, it says that the house, and for some reason I can't find it, but I'm a little bit of a nervous wreck at the moment. To be able to call on the mowing or say the noxious weeds, your house has to be within 455 feet or something of other houses. It's nowhere near that. It's farther away than that, you know, so it's almost like it felt like harassment that, you know, my house is farther away, and so somebody's calling on something that really shouldn't even be approached. And then to say that there aren't any windows in the house has all the windows. It's just that we were told to board it up, but that doesn't reflect what's inside and what's there. The back screen door does keep getting pulled open. You know, I try to close it, but then, you know, I had it all boarded up, and then people kept taking the boards off. And it was just starting to get ridiculous in terms of them just, you know, continually doing it. I just in the last couple of years, I was able to buy, my sister didn't want to fix it up, but I do, and I still do, and I think the structure is very sound. It's not falling in or anything. And so I would just like the opportunity, the chance to fix up my childhood home and not have it torn down, you know, and if somebody's going to tear it down, I want it to be me hiring my people, whoever I want to do it, and not just some willy-nilly, you know, county office telling me what to do. In the spring, they sent me a thing that it had to be mowed, but we did not even receive the letter until the day they were already mowing. And I happened to work with the postmaster, and he said that it can't be considered received until you actually know that it was received. So if you had gone online, they would have noticed that it had not been received until, I believe it was the 25th of that month. And I have the actual letter that it's stamped by the post office when they received it, and we had not received it until after they were already mowing it. And so that was like, I mean, what, illegal? I don't know, but it certainly was not very respectful of me, and it gave me no chance to mow my own property. The garbage also, someone in the plan office said that they have an easement of 50 feet, and we take care of it and we mow it, is what I was told. Now, I don't actually believe that they have a 50-foot easement. They want to have a 50-foot easement eventually. But if they have a 50-foot easement, which would have to be proven to me, then they certainly aren't cleaning up their 50-foot easement like she told me, because all of the garbage would have been removed, or the vast majority of it. And so I keep getting, the messages are mixed, everything is a little bit crazy, and I just feel unfairly treated, quite frankly.
But it's been 2 years and nothing's happened.
Well, I have done some stuff in the last couple
Actually,
of years.
it goes back to 2019, so it's been like 5 years.
But I mean, I have done trimming and stuff in between.
How,
But it's just like you know, I would like a chance. I've been working a lot. I can't, you know, I can't do everything, but I'm still hoping to fix it up, and I don't know, I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I would like to have the chance to try and work on getting a loan and getting the people that I like to work with to do the work.
when this house burnt,
Yes.
what year was that?
I can't even remember,
Okay. And.
but
it-
my sister would not work on fixing it up.
Okay,
Did you say 2010?
2010,
Okay.
and was there insurance on the home?
There was.
And you didn't take the opportunity to restore this home
My
to?
sister would not.
but the insurance company did not intervene with that, they just handed you the money, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how close in proximity do you live to this home?
I live like within a couple miles.
Okay. And is this your garbage on the
No.
property?
No,
People are-
absolutely
People
not.
are dumping?
Yes.
And are you, if someone drives by my house and throws out a soda cup, I'm gonna go out and pick it up and get rid of it, because I'm not gonna track whose DNA is on that soda cup. Do you take this trash and remove it from the property the minute you see it?
Well, I don't, because I'm working full-time and stuff, I don't really get over there all the time, but I mean, a lot of the stuff they're dumping is like way too heavy for me to move by myself. Like they put a couch out, put a water heater out. I
But
mean,
you- Yeah, but you said that you have individuals that would demolish the house for you. If it comes to that, would those individuals keep the trash cleaned up and the property in order? As far as mowing the
what do you mean, like
trees?
after it's demolished? Is that what you're,
No,
or just, oh,
before.
just now? I can mow it myself.
But you haven't.
I hadn't been, I actually had problems with my mower, and so I didn't get it mowed, yeah.
It would be a challenging mow because
I've been
It's-
over there and mowed it
it's
a lot of
going-
times. It's
it's-
not that challenging.
it's going
Really.
back, well,
Well, I mean, I have to cut all the trees, yes. And that's another issue that we had
Mhm.
with the county. When all the ash trees died, I called the county and I said, you know, I think this ash tree is in your easement. Well, they said no, so they wouldn't help with any of the, you know, several $1,000s in tree removal. So then later, he came out. I said, you know, you never would help. Oh, well, I'll come and look at it. And so he was there and he said, well, if it's right by the pavement. And he said, well, this isn't, you know, this is in the easement. And I said, well, then why didn't you help, you know, with the payment for removal of the trees? Well, he didn't know, and they still left the trees laying there, you know. And so, there's a big argument over where is this easement? And,
Wouldn't it be
you know, the county doesn't want it to be theirs when it costs the county money, they want it to be mine. But when otherwise, they want it to be theirs.
I don't think we're talking, we're kind of getting off the track of
Well,
where we need
that's
to
not,
be.
because trees have grown up around the fallen ash trees.
Miss Engelbrecht?
Yes.
When was the last time you did any valued improvement to that home other than what you were ordered to do by Hancock County? It's been vacant since 2010. It was involved in a fire. Here we are 15 years down the road. What have
Right.
you done?
I have actually done a lot of trimming of trees.
But nothing of
To the
value.
structure.
We're talking
But
about the
nothing, yeah,
structure.
I have not done anything to the
Because
structure because
that's
I
what we're
only
here for.
recently.
We're here for an unsafe building
Okay.
hearing, not so much about trees on property.
Okay. Well, that's what I said. I would like to work this spring on putting a roof on it and getting that started. We have some property that we're trying to sell, and I would use that money to work on it also.
Well, it's been 15 years. There's a similar property you own on Jacoby and 300 South. It's in the same condition. I don't see any activity. I saw more activity there at one time than I've ever seen at this home. I've seen nothing other than the activity the county's required you to do to board it up and keep it safe. And it's become really a hazard to public health, a public nuisance. I know the sheriff has had officers over there because people have stolen copper pipe and copper wire
Okay,
out of the thing.
and then for me, they
But
have
it's
not called me to let
Because
me know that.
nobody's living there, and they can't live there, and they won't live there, and the structure really has gone beyond a time where if you did anything to it, you'd have to raise it to do anything. So to me, it's
I
beyond.
don't believe that's true.
It is beyond the measure of being able to take care of and bring it back to life.
I mean, have you been in it? Of course, that would mean you trespassed, but
Oh no, what I see is right from the roadway.
it's not really falling in.
Yet,
Well, but, I mean, you can
the
fix
pictures that were
structures.
displayed in the from what we saw this morning, it's there and it's happening.
See, I've been in it, and I don't believe that that's true.
I do believe it's true. I do believe that's why Mr. Williams brought this to us to look at, because it's an unsafe structure, and if something's not done to it, somebody's gonna get hurt while they're in there, and it's not gonna be on the fault of the county, it's gonna be on you when something like that happens. You know, you say the back door
I
continues
understand
to
that.
get opened up and people come into it. Well, guess what? When they do that, you're liable for those things. Even if they're there trespassing, you have liability. And I just don't see anything there that would tell me you've been trying to do anything other than just kind of, I don't even know if manage the property is. I think you may be overwhelmed with what everything is going on there, and you've got enough other things going on that's just not your priority. And the reason
Well-
people are dumping there is because they look at it as a dumping ground. They don't dump in the homes or front yards of people who are maintaining their property. They get dumped on where things are not happening.
Well, or they get dumped on when they're trying to harass you.
Yeah, that, you know what, that's an exception than the rule. That is just, that,
Well, I followed one car, it went down the road about half a mile, and they had dumped on our property, and then I followed them. So they live in the neighborhood, and they're dumping on it.
right, but again, we're off to this, we're off the trail again. Let's get back on the uninhabited house. That's just where, that's, in my opinion, that's what I see it. It's a structure that needs to come down. It's not probably going to get any measured benefit to it. All that's been done to it is just to keep it safe enough to keep probably somebody from getting hurt in it. So that's,
And it's no longer there.
15 years is a overly extended period of time to leave a property, a sentimental property in that kind of disarray.
Well,
And
like I
especially
said, I didn't even own it until just a few years ago, 2 or 3 years
Did
ago.
you buy your sister out?
Yes.
Is that how?
So at that point in time, why didn't you take the money the insurance gave you and redo it?
I mean, you know, she didn't give me her money.
Well, it's money for the house. It's not each of your
Right.
money unless you're gonna do away with the house.
Right, but I'm saying, the money got split between my sister and I. My sister didn't give me her share of the insurance money. Why would she?
Because it was to repair the house. That's
Yeah.
why that's why it should have been done.
Well, that isn't what happened.
Okay.
She wouldn't do it. I mean, I would like to think that you would give me a chance.
We've given you 15 years.
Well, that's not really true, because as I told you, my sister wouldn't do anything to fix it up. So where's my 15 years?
I think that would, 30 years is probably more than.
Way too much.
A little too
Eh,
much myself
I think
personally.
I've heard enough.
Yeah, me too. Well, how do we proceed, Scott?
Did you have anything else you wanted to testify to on the safety
Um,
of the house itself?
I mean, I just feel like this is, you know, over the top, unhelpful. Yeah, I mean, you charge me for the people mowing my grass when I wasn't even given the chance to mow it. Nobody needed to come on my property until I had received the letter. But they couldn't wait. They had, you know, it's almost, it felt like,
Ms.
you-
Alder, you've already
Right.
testified to that. If you don't have anything else to say about the actual residents and the safety of it, then I think, you know, we'd like to give Mr. Williams a chance to provide any additional testimony and rebuttal.
okay, I mean, I guess, you know, I don't know how else to, whatever. When did the I would like to know, when did the county adopt, Title 39? When did they adopt that ordinance, or into your ordinances? The Indiana Code, 36.
I don't know when we adopted it, but I've got the unsafe building, unsafe premises. It's in Indiana code. That's a state law.
Right.
36794.
But my understanding is that it cannot be used until 2 years after it's been adopted. So I'm asking you, when was that adopted?
Actually, it can be used as soon as it's adopted.
Not according to the Indiana code I have.
These statutes are typically enacted on July 1st of the year that they're voted on by the.
But it says that the county can adopt this, and then 2 years after that. That's in the Indiana code.
Okay, but you have to understand, this is the ordinance and this is the law that applies to this hearing. So we wouldn't be proceeding if in fact there was not a problem with the house based on the statute.
Okay, but I'm just asking you, when did you adopt this?
That's not up for us to research for you. What we're saying to you is it applies.
We would not be trying to enforce something that was not legal.
Well, my history tells me, I mean, the mowing the grass, you enforce that, and that wasn't, until I had received the letter, you couldn't do it. But you assumed it had been received, and so
Well,
you
we're
went
not-
ahead and did it.
Again, we're not talking about the grass.
I'm
We're talking about your
talking
home.
about
Your home's a
what
fire
you're doing.
hazard, your home's a hazard to public health, your home's a public nuisance, and it's dangerous to other people. That's what we're talking about.
I also would like to receive a copy under, I guess, freedom of information, the people that have complained.
Well, you have to file that request yourself, and that's not the
Okay.
purpose of this hearing.
Okay.
So, Mr. Williams, do you have some testimony you'd like to give in rebuttal? Briefly.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
You have to come up, Scott.
So as far as the complaints, we take those anonymously. So, even if she does request that, there's not a lot of information to give.
You can give her the information that you received.
When received, yeah.
But there is no
No name.
name documentation.
No. And then as far as when we adopted the unsafe building code, I know when I started here 10 years ago, it was already in place. And then in 2015, they adopted, the county attorney at the time clarified who the hearing authority and the enforcement authority were. So, to my knowledge, it's been, since I've been here, that the unsafe building law has been adopted by our county. So, I want to mention that.
Do you have anything else you?
No, that'd be all.
Do we
Is
just,
there any other evidence you want to present?
No.
Okay, that will close the hearing with regard to presentation of evidence, and now the case is before the board to make a decision.
Do I need to, we don't
Motion.
need to,
We need to make a motion.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, you have to, yes, you have to
To
do a motion
enforce.
based on, and that encompasses your decision.
all right, okay. I'll make a motion that we rule that the property located at 2463 West 200 South in Greenfield, Indiana, an unsafe building, and allow the code enforcement department to go ahead with their procedures,
Which would include,
raising the house and clearing the land, whatever it takes, and placing a lien against the property and to actually have the property sold to pay for it if need be.
second that motion.
Can I say
no, you can't right now. It's been moved and seconded.
Okay, but there you go.
That we have found fact of an unsafe building located at 2463 West 200 South, Greenfield, Indiana 46140. parcel ID 30-10-15-100-003.001-012 as presented. The body of commissioners requests that the code enforcement officer take the appropriate action with the raising of the building,
Clearing the property,
placing a lien,
placing a lien
and placing a lien on the property.
with rights to sell.
You could add any and all the remedies that are available under the.
Okay. Pricing, selling the property or any other remedies that are availed to him underneath the unsafe building statute. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, sir, thank you. Ms. Engelbrecht, we're finished.
What is the timeframe on this?
I do not know.
You would have to get with
But
Scott,
you can
he
work-
would know that.
You can work with the building enforcement, code enforcement director, and he will give you a timeline of how this plays out.
But can I hire my own people?
No, ma'am.
Because you're gonna hire people that'll charge 10 times as much, and then it'll be against me.
Well, it'll be against you and the taxpayer, but no.
What taxpayer?
You need to make contact with the building code enforcement director, and he will tell you what the,
Another issue that I would like to bring up is, I am being assessed on this house at $60,000.
you can make another appointment to the assessor's office to ask about that. That's not a commissioner issue. The assessor would give you greater guidance than the commissioners would, and they are upstairs. If you're
Yeah,
more
I
than
know where
welcome to
they
go
are.
up there and ask.
Thank you.
Gary, go ahead and call back to order our meeting.
Make a motion, we bring our meeting out of recess.
Okay, and then I thought I saw Mr.
Second.
Straw in
You
here.
did.
Second.
Second.
It's been
Yes,
moved and
thank you.
seconded, hold on a minute. And now I'm gonna need another recess meeting.
I make a motion, we recess our meeting again in order to hear
Water sewer.
Water and Sewer Board.
Second. It's been moved and seconded, we recess for water and sewer meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have
Good
you
morning.
with us.
I'm here finally. Sorry I was late.
We thought you might have been frozen up somewhere.
Well, I was actually frozen outside and
Oh.
I came in.
Okay.
From doing the work because my hands were freezing. Found I had something that wasn't on my phone yesterday that this meeting was happening.
Uh-huh.
So we're here. First thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the October 1 regular meeting.
Okay.
I think they've all been
I
sent to you.
cannot make that motion.
Oh.
I wasn't
Okay, hang on
here.
just a second.
It's to approve these
These,
October 1st,
Right here.
2024 meeting minutes.
same,
Yeah.
same one, okay. Make a motion to approve the minutes for the January 21,
No, it's
to,
the
no,
October 1st, 2024 meeting.
2024 meeting, October 1st.
Second, it's been moved and seconded. We approve the meeting minutes from our October 1st, 2024 regular meeting as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is Hancock Rural Telephone Corporation, i.e. 9-Star, has a petition in front of you to provide service to 4 households that are actually in the area that Cumberland is scheduled to serve. And that notice and request has been sent to you along with a map of this area and the letters from the 4 people who are requesting this service. And evidently Cumberland is not ready to do that yet. And according to my reading of the petition, 9-Star has agreed that they would provide service to them, and at the time Cumberland came along and got ready to provide service, they would give up that service and let Cumberland go ahead and take it over. So we have Mike Burrow, the president of 9-Star, is here. Their attorney's here, and they'd be more willing to talk. I know that some of the homeowners are here that are requesting that service.
Okay. We'll have them come forward. Whoever else is here on this matter, 9-Star and
I guess I'll start out. My name's Jim Budenbaum. I'm legal counsel for 9-Star Connect. Hancock
You need to
Rural
swear 'em in.
Telephone.
Okay,
do that, yeah.
okay.
Pardon me?
You're fine, you're fine.
Okay. With me today is George Plinsky. He's an engineer for Nine Star Connect, and so he knows more of the details about the connection and where the lines that exist today are. So I'll have him talk, because that'll be more instructive than a lawyer talking to you,
Okay.
of course. Mike Burrow's here if you have any questions for Mike Burrow. As you probably know, Mike's the CEO of Nine Star Connect. We've made multiple contacts with Cumberland, including an official notice that we would come before you, and that's after making informal requests, can we serve these 4 customers, because we have a line that goes right in front of them, and they would like to get off their septic system. As you know, the big push, not only in Hancock County, but the state of Indiana, is to get people off septic systems, get them connected to sewer systems, and we have the opportunity to do that. All we're asking for is a temporary consent to do so. If Cumberland comes along and builds a line that's within proximity and they can make the connection for these folks, we're not gonna stand in the way of that, but we would like to be able to connect them to them, because it makes complete sense given where we are.
So until they drive that connection, they would be with Nine Star, and as soon as they had a connection to sanitary and water, you would
Yeah.
say, hey, you're free to go ahead.
Yeah, this is sanitary sewer. I don't know about their water connection.
There's not water.
I don't think there's water in that area, but
Okay.
there will be soon. They, and George can explain it, I don't have it memorized, but some of these folks are also already members of Nine Star Connect.
So why would you give up serving them after you've already spent the money running the pipes and all that kind of stuff?
Well, they weren't the main goal for the pipe, but we're passing by them to get to our main goal, so we wanna provide the service. We just don't wanna create conflict.
Okay.
At that time, you know, there is an argument that it makes sense for them not to change services once they've connected to us, but that'll be up to them and their customer preference, to be quite honest. So, with
And the
that,
town
I'd
of
like-
the town of Cumberland is in lockstep with this decision that they
No,
would
they're
still not
they're
in lockstep.
non-responsive. And since we filed the petition, I've had one contact with them, and recently, and George can answer for you,
Okay.
any questions about the number of times he's tried to contact them before today's meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're not overly familiar with what a temporary consent to serve is, it goes between utilities all the time, in the electric space, in the water space, and in the wastewater space. And it's just another utility. We want to respect that Cumberland has a territory, and they own that service territory, much like we do. We're in a better position in this state to be able to serve these 4 residents. Nearest facilities for Cumberland are gonna be in the Stone Ridge subdivision. They may have intent, but they have not indicated that they have any imminent plans to be able to serve these folks.
And how far is Stone Ridge?
Probably, it'd be both north of some of the properties and south of one of the properties that we intend to serve, or would like to serve.
But right now, as far as you know, Cumberland doesn't have any way to reach them within the next 6 months, or they're so far away that this would make better sense, this connection would make better sense at this time than anything else.
Yeah, and like I said, we did ask that, this project for us started in about March of last year. That's kind of when the groundbreaking occurred. In February, I reached out to the town manager, Ben Lips, kind of advising him that there are 4 customers that are located within the GEM CTA, which is Cumberland owns that these 4 residents would like to connect, and we'd like to arrange some kind of temporary consent. Like I said, they happen all the time. A lot of non-responsive or large periods of time kind of elapse before we get a response. Then finally in April, it was a hard no, that they would not like to entertain a temporary consent to serve for these 4 residents.
And then, how can we, I don't wanna say get around that, but how can we enforce that on behalf of these 4 families or homeowners? What would be our next step to help those?
Well, I think the homeowners are here, is that correct?
Some of the homeowners are here.
We're,
Mrs.
excuse me,
Everett, Mr.
where,
Smith?
I mean, what gives us the right to actually make that call?
Under Indiana statute, being the regional water district, water and sewer to provide any of these services, we came before you for purposes of getting your consent to do so. So, because you do have that exclusive control. And then since then, on two occasions, we've come before you as well to get your consent. One with Aqua, Indiana, you know them, of course, and then the other one's with the city of Greenfield, so that we could move some territory lines, so to speak, that made the most sense, just like this kind of makes some sense. So the statute does give you that authority.
So it allows us to do things in another person's or another
Person's territory.
public entity's territory, sewer territory.
Yes,
Is that
you
it?
have the right to control the
Okay.
provision of these particular services.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been essentially this board's trustees, which have always been the three commissioners.
Right.
And they have the right under the Indiana code to establish areas in Hancock County that certain people can serve. Whether you yourself want to make service there and go into that business, you could. In the past, they've given to different people. Steve Riley had part of that down around New Palestine for years, and I think Cumberland bought a lot of that. Like Jim said, Aqua came through, they did that. There's just different areas. So the only place we don't have service is Charlottesville. So it's hopefully someday.
One day. One day. Okay. No, I'd like to all the homeowners, would the homeowners that are here come up? Anybody who is a homeowner on this, would you kind of come up here, just a couple questions?
I'm still having trouble hearing you guys, so.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Commissioners Court, my name is Anthony Schreiber. I live at 1904 North 200 West in Hancock County, and I am an affected party on this situation. In my humble understanding is that after Nine Star had laid their main line, covered and reseeded, that Cumberland decided to exercise their right to hinder us from connecting to a line which is in our front yard. I went to Cumberland once and asked to speak to someone about this when I received a letter, and they basically told me that they had over a dozen major projects ongoing at the time and had no foreseeable timeline to supply services to us, but again, they are preventing us to hook up to something that's in our front yard.
So there was nobody from Cumberland that asked you to hook up or not hook up?
Cumberland has no supply line to our property. They told us that in the not foreseeable future, would they have services available to us. And Nine Star has placed service in our front yard.
Mm-hmm. And you wish to be hooked up to that service?
Pardon?
You wish to be hooked up to the Nine Star
I
sanitary
would have the
sewer.
opportunity should my septic system fail, or be granted permission to repair or replace my current septic system should it fail. Have options. I wish to have options.
You wouldn't have any other
I
option
don't
except
think you
to
have an
hook on.
option when it fails because you're within 300 foot of a sanitary sewer line and you have to hook into that.
Well, if I can't hook up to it across the street, then I have a property that is virtually useless because I have no septic.
One of the reasons I'm asking you what I asked you is because I had been told that a group had asked if people wanted to be hooked up to one or the other, and I've got conflicting statements saying, well, this group of 4 people
I
said we
want
want
to
to
be able
on
to hook up to
Cumberland.
something should my septic fail
Okay.
or be granted the opportunity to repair and replace. I assume that if my septic would fail now, that I would not be allowed
To replace
hook
it.
up to what
You-
Nine Star has placed in my front yard, and Cumberland has no desire
to supply services to me. So I just want to be able to keep my property viable as to have access to one or the other or something.
Is your plan to when is your plan to hook up to sanitary
I,
sewer?
I signed a paper that I desired to be able to hook up, should it be available. Right now, it is not available.
Okay.
Okay. Is this the consensus of the other homeowners? Same thing? Everybody's wanting to hook up?
When is the sanitary line, George, going to be in front of these folks' houses?
already
that
there.
they can-
It's already there and reseated.
Operational March, final cleanup May.
Okay. So in March, sir, you'll be able to hook up to the sanitary sewer.
If I'm allowed to, yes.
That's what we're getting ready to take care of.
But right now, I'm not allowed to.
Okay. That's the question that I had. I just wanted to make sure that everybody here wanted to receive service from Nine Star and nobody else, and that Nine Star had a sanitary sewer line in your area that you could hook onto.
Yes.
And that the city of Cumberland didn't have anything that was close for you to hook onto.
Or in
Well,
the.
currently, my septic system works fine. And I was told that I had 10-year option to hook up. So, you know, should my septic system fail, I would hook up.
Okay. So,
Did we have the other homeowners identify themselves?
Okay.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
Thank
it
you.
is just,
Thank you very much.
and Cumberland, I think, is asserting their right in the 13th hour. If this was to be an issue, it should have been brought up during the planning stage, during the installation stage, before installation. It could have gone on the east side of the road all the way down, and we would have been told, this is for the east side of
Okay.
200 West. I mean, it's a dividing line for the school corporation. And my children went to Mount Vernon, which was further away than if they'd have gone to Greenfield. But since that is the dividing line, I understand that.
Sir, can we have the rest of the homeowners identify themselves?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Michael Atkins, 1198 North 200 West. I can speak for myself and another neighbor and friend of mine, Dave Heller. We want to hook this up as quick as possible.
Okay.
I've
So
got a
you're-
very old septic system, and I would much rather go on a sewer line than have to buy or build a new one.
So your plan is to, if this goes through, to hook up as soon as possible?
We had hoped to have this done a long time ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Hi, my name is Jill Ebert, and I live at 1936 North 200 West. And yes, I was for this, and as Tony mentioned, I wondered why it wasn't brought out in the beginning. That's the puzzle to me. But yes, if we can get hooked up, I'd like to hook up.
Okay. Great. Hey, thank you all for
Thank you.
coming in today. I know it's cold outside. We appreciate it. So what is our charge?
That's in here too. I thought it was, maybe it's not.
I don't think you have that order in your
Yeah.
packet. If you have any other questions,
Petition to
I'd be,
Actually, petition modified, yeah, we have it in our
We have
packet.
that in our packet.
okay? Good.
So,
No, you have the petition. This is actually the order.
Okay.
Granting that petition.
Okay, thank you.
okay. So, what do you guys think? I think, they are right. I mean, we want as many people off of septic as we can. And since the Nine Star is right there in front of their house, I mean, I see no reason we should hold it up.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I had said, hey, why not an interlocal in between these? And it sounds like you've got something there that's like an interlocal that says, hey, within a few years, if you get your sanitary sewer, we're willing to back away and let these folks to jump on. That's the way to go.
And will that remain the customer's choice on if they stay or if they go with Cumberland, or?
For the most part, yeah, it will be customer's choice about whether
Okay.
they jump over. You know, I suppose Cumberland could come back to you and say, I want you to force them.
So we
jump
need to
over."
include in there that they don't have to switch over.
Yeah.
Is that in this documentation?
No, that's not in there.
But we can include that in our motions.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
I see no reason to give up that without. Okay.
Do you want to make the motion, or do you
Yeah.
want me to?
I make a motion that we approve the order to provide wastewater utility service to these 4 homes that are affected on 200 West as presented, and with the caveat that they do not have to hook to Cumberland Sewer when they're available.
Okay, I will second that.
It's moved and seconded that we approve this order to provide wastewater utility service as presented to us with the 4 homeowners
200 West.
at 200 West and 100 North?
Yeah.
200 west
Between 100 North and 200 North. With the additional to state that once sewer service comes in the area from Cumberland, that the homeowners affected here still have the right to remain on the sanitary sewer that they will get with 9 Star, or the choice to go over to Cumberland. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And one thing, maybe the order should be, just put it in writing.
It should, we will
What's
do
that?
that.
Yes, we will, right after this.
We'll change that. We'll change that, get it back over to you.
There's a
Do you
signature
want
spot for you.
Yeah.
motion to close the public hearing?
Second?
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, no, not yet?
We can't quit.
No, we gotta,
Oh, we
I
got
have
more.
something that's not on your list.
got new business.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that cost you there.
Yeah. I have a conflict of interest statement for me. I
Oh,
represent
okay.
Greenfield Schools and have for a number of years along with this board. My wife also owns an environmental consulting company, and I don't know that they do any work for the city, but they, from time to time, may bid on projects. So I'm telling you that so I can file this with the county clerk and the Secretary of State.
Thank you.
Secretary of State. So if you will move to adopt my conflict of interest, I will get that done.
I make a motion that we move to accept the
Conflict of interest.
conflict of interest document from Dan Stahl.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the conflict of interest document from Dan Strahl as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Now you're ready for your, unless you have any other
Any new
business, you're ready for
business?
that motion.
No. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll recess here so we can take about a 5 or 10 minute break.
That sounds good. Get up and stretch.
Oh, my.
Oh, we're getting old.
Yeah.
Too much groaning going on.
Did you hear me pop or what?
We're moaning and groaning.
So, you want us to sign this or what?
Yeah.
Just one.
Today, and these are the minutes, if you look at those.
I think that we already had a copy of that, but I'm not sure.
I thought we had the minutes.
That was really good. Very thorough.
Oh, for today's meeting. Oh, but you'll provide them again at the next meeting. Okay. We approve it and then sign it.
Yes.
I was gonna get you guys, it's on Parkport until Cape. So we have an understanding, so what we're gonna do, there was more, as I told you, there's a department set board. but that's a scrivener's thing, so we don't have to go through a whole nother one. So what we're gonna do is present that to you, just for you to initial.
Okay,
So, and Janine, to initial.
Okay.
Or versus part. That's it.
right.
The other part of it is they, you know, of course, they get to.
But we've already motioned to change that wording.
Okay, we're not doing board members today though, right?
No, they brought that to us to actually,
But do they do it in meetings?
yep. Yes. Yes, we
Okay.
have
Because I'm
voted to
still
actually
waiting to
change
find out
the wording
if,
from department to board.
Okay, well then just initial, we don't need to go.
Okay.
So the only other thing is
He's not interested. What about the two people? I'll tell you, can't, if she follows
As a
the
matter
board,
of
can't
courtesy,
she?
they want to let you know what they're thinking about who.
Okay.
But they get to decide.
Actually, elected officials they've chosen to, okay.
I think Deb's gonna do that, but I think they still want to remind who.
Sure, okay, well, you make
Okay.
contact with these two others and ask them if they're okay outside
Okay.
that meeting, and then the next time we can.
Okay.
Okay, yes, that's what
Get
he
this
just
stuff
said.
done.
Yes, whatever you guys talked about.
Hey, it's,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I did. So I just thought,
Got some time to do a few.
I've been doing this a while, so.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh, I don't know.
And
I don't know that part.
You know,
I would ask him.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted it done. That way, get you guys together,
Would
get
ask
it done.
him. Just.
Hey, gotta do what we gotta do.
right. Okay. So we'll get that, we'll do the constitution, and they can, you know, vote on things that we don't have to worry about.
Okay.
Being approved later.
I'm gonna do some cleaning on that road.
Okay, so I think, Gary, that we just talked about, they, official.
But we made the motion to change that from department to board.
I don't either, but he may be right.
I think we did. Because they brought it for us, unless Scott told you not to do it or whatever. There was discussion whether you had to redo the whole ordinance or amend
Oh,
it.
that, well, we didn't vote. We didn't vote.
Or signed it
I
off.
know what he's talking about. That was an evening. Yeah, we didn't actually, we didn't talk
Okay.
about it. I
All
said,
right.
We just
and I
had to
said,
sign
that's a
it.
scrivener's error. I do remember.
Right, so now we're bringing it back to sign.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay.
Good morning, Bernie. How are you? I'm as good as possible. I spent yesterday putting in appliances, and tell you what, I've never put in all appliances before. It's more work than.
How's your back?
What's that?
How's your back?
It's bad, but.
Yeah, two-wheel dolly.
Oh yeah. Oh, but I tell you what, couple of young men. I ain't but at the same time, one of them come carrying a freaking thing in the house on his back. I mean, he had straps on. Straps.
No, with who? Was it like Home Depot or something?
Is hellos.
Okay. Gotcha.
But at the same time, whenever they brought the refrigerator in, they had two of them bringing it in. They had it down like a dream. So, but no, it's bad enough on my back just sitting there. So, my back's always been bad.
Rather than me hold the original, I'm gonna give you the original. The yellow is where I don't know if you need 3 signatures or 1 signature.
We can probably all initial it.
And then the blue is just to discuss what I'm going to discuss.
What you're gonna discuss?
Binky might jump in there. He's gonna
Okay.
support me on this.
Okay.
He's gonna be my
Okay, well,
sounding board.
we'll wait, we'll be at the very end of so we can all,
So this is gonna be at the end, not when you come back?
well,
We've got.
we still have, so I'll show you where it is on our agenda.
I know, it's at the very bottom.
It's at
The very bottom.
Parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Action
still have Michael Kester, Bernie Harris, and HR
I'm
update.
happy just to wait. I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, all that stuff will go through pretty quickly.
No problem. Scott had just said he was gonna try to get you guys to push it along, and I was like, I don't care.
Oh, well. it
But
will
I'm
be-
giving you the original, so.
Okay.
I don't need to be complicated, trust me.
I think you do. I'll talk to your husband about you.
He might be telling me the truth.
He might tell me to be quiet too. Mind my P's and Q's.
Yeah. Yeah, but feel free, raise your hand or smack me or do something that says, hey, I need a break.
I'd love to smack you.
Need a break.
Not really. Huh? Good elbow? Good old fashioned elbow to the ribs? My goodness. If I had any money, I'd buy a Diet Pepsi, but I only have $1.
You need some money?
I need $1.
Okay.
Here. Okay, give me the second right here.
Is this my copy?
Okay,
That's
sign.
how I gotta go in that machine. You got any fresh money that was recently made?
Well, I didn't bring my stash. So.
Well, we'll go give this world my time.
Yeah, we're not.
Isn't considered fraud to take insurance money and split it and not take care of what is supposed to be
I don't know
done?
if it's fraud, but boy, sure isn't very smart.
Yeah.
That lady, she's something else. She lives near,
That's
she
what
lives near
happened
me.
and why this property got in shape.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, the scrivener's error,
You just guide us through this.
Yeah, let me just do it.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
And I thought we had already voted on this, and we did not vote it, we talked about it.
Yeah,
What happened was, you couldn't say, we had to amend the ordinance.
you can.
You know, have the scriveners.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to motion.
Yeah. I think he does. I think we're gaining ground on it there.
just got over Jeremy's. You're welcome.
I'm gonna have to leave probably like at 11:15. So we're gonna try to get
Is there
everything.
anything for me to do with this?
No, that's it. Today's minutes. She'll bring it back whenever we have the next one.
I don't think
Not-
so.
We only sign
I'm
it
just
after
an
we
innocent
approve it
bystander.
next time around. Because the public has to hear that too.
James redid the 9-star order to provide wastewater utility service to add the caveat that you guys have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Re-sign it. However,
Okay.
the third signature is on his second page, so just to be aware.
See where I kind of right down there with Save the Spotted Owl Society.
Here, I'll let you sign that right there. Okay, that goes with that. That goes with that.
Oh, James got that.
Yeah, the third signature got bumped down because they changed the.
Okay. You're welcome. Ready.
Okay, Michael Kester. Bernie Harris.
Okay.
There's Bernie. He's gonna bring his own chair with him. Good morning.
Busy morning. I have a couple of things that we need to go over. The first one, at the end of last year, we contracted with Civic Plus to set up a planning module and a building module for us, and we need additional funding for that for this year. Talked to the council last week, and they agreed to give us the $30,000 we needed for that. So I just need your blessing on that to go ahead and go forward with that.
And that is with who?
That was Civic Plus.
Civic Plus.
That's for software contractual.
Do we have that in here? I'm not seeing it.
What contractual? What is it?
Software
Software contractual. Okay.
Did you bring a copy of that?
Of the additional, no, it'll be a line item that's part of Civic Plus already, it's already been contracted with.
Make a motion to approve the continuation of service through Civic Plus for software, Civic Plus software for the IT department, as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we continue the Civic Plus software contractual service with our IT department as presented by our IT director, Bernie Harris. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And the other thing was for our security software. We need a SIEM. What that is it's a software that takes all your. I don't know if I should be talking about this here, but takes all your
We can
logs.
do an executive session under that, under those kind of things, so you tell us.
Okay, well, it is kind of confidential.
If it's confidential, let's
Yeah.
schedule another
Okay.
time to talk
But
about.
it's an increase in our software contractual for our security software.
In
It's
the
for SIEM
amount,
software.
in the amount
An amount of 50,000. And that was approved also by
The council?
the council.
They approved to fund your security, and you need approval from us?
I need it from you to go out and buy it. I have to buy it, have it signed, you have to sign it, and I have to go out and tell them it's okay to buy this, so.
Okay.
I don't know how we did this, I mean,
Have they
it's new.
provided you with the contract yet for it?
Yeah, I've got the quote
You've got the quote?
from, this is for, our SIEM, our softwares from, it's called Splunk is what it is, it's software is what it is.
Okay.
So we just approved the quote to pay?
Okay.
Are we giving any?
And this is for
is the-
12 months.
Is the quote the agreement
It's the repurchase that, yes.
Okay.
pending your, you wanna take a look at that
Yeah,
first?
and you guys, I mean, that, I don't know, is there something about this, you were mentioning it's proprietary?
It's dealing with security software.
Yeah, do we need more information on
If
that?
you want more information, I can explain to you what it is, but that would probably be best done in the.
Executive session.
Okay.
So,
We can hold on
You can
that.
hold off on it and.
Is there a timeline there that we need to adhere by, like a 30-day?
January 15th through January 14th of 2026.
Is the,
The quote is good for?
That's what the contract we did for.
Okay.
So are we already out of compliance?
No,
with-
this is something
new.
this is
Okay,
new.
all right, all right. So it said, I mean, from January, we won't have another meeting until
February.
February.
I think that you can go ahead and approve the quote, and one thing that we would need to look into is, because, you don't want the bad players knowing kind of
What we're doing.
how, what we're doing, and how we're doing it, so that they would know how to counteract us, so that, Scott, could be
Pending review.
pending your
Well,
review and
I
some
think
kind of
it's more
authority.
than just pending legal review, though. They'd like to have a little content to what this is.
I
Right,
would.
we're signing, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would.
so that needs to be done first.
Let's hold off on it. Make it for February 15th or whatever. I mean, and bring it back.
That's fine.
I guess my question was because of the, the
We would do
sensitivity
it
of
in
the situation.
executive session if we can do it that way.
Can we, we need to
Yeah.
look and see if they can sign that contract in an executive.
Does-
Well,
is
no, then
cybersecurity-
You can't make a
discuss
decision,
what it is
we
that
can at
we
least talk
decide.
about it.
Not
Right, we can talk
formal
about
action.
it.
Okay.
Is
I would like
cybersecurity
to let
something
you know
that
what
we
it's
can
all
talk
about
about?
anyway. I want you to know what we're doing. anyway,
Okay,
so-
well then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
send us the information and we'll act on it next month.
Yeah, cybersecurity is something we can discuss in executive session
That's,
under the,
that was my question.
under
Okay.
the open door.
The last thing, we are live with our streaming to YouTube right now.
Okay?
And I looked at the code, Scott, I don't know if you looked at that code, 1169. It's kind of confusing what it's saying, but from what I read, you can correct me if I'm wrong. As long as you're streaming and you give them a link, you don't have to archive it.
How long?
We were talking about, what, 90 days,
Yeah.
90 days, right.
How long, Scott, do we have to hold on to that stuff?
Well, the usual rules, like a 7-year rule, retention, I mean, it's pretty long. Yeah.
But we can't store that. I mean, the cost for storing something like that would be extraordinary.
Is 90 days a big
We
deal?
have, we're
We've got
set up,
90
we
days
can
right
do it,
now.
but from what I read in the law, we don't have to do that according to what it's saying. If it says if you're streaming, then only if you're not streaming, then you have to do this.
I think that's true. The thing is whether you want to do it.
But at the same time, we've got recorded meetings here. So, I mean, it's already recorded.
And
I
those are
mean-
being retained.
Yeah,
And if someone came in and applied for the Freedom of Information Act, they'd
We'd
fill
give
out the
them-
appropriate paperwork and then they would.
And Deb gets those sometimes.
So does this, and I don't know what that code is offhand, but does it mention the state retention
1169.
schedule?
They said 90 days, though, you have to keep it, so, yeah.
I wonder if that applies to the state retention schedule.
That's talking about
that-
streaming video.
I know like for documents that I have to store, it's a 7-year
Mhm.
rule. Like, that's what I typically follow.
I think we're talking different things here.
I do too. Do you think that you two could collaborate on that and let us know?
and we've asked this before, we need an answer. So, we
And
need to
then-
know for a fact.
And what do we have to record as well, as far as, we've got a ton of meetings set up to be recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to record all of those meetings?
Well-
I'd have to look at the code. I think the
Right.
code requires, if you're meeting in a room like this after
It has to
July
be
of
recorded.
2025,
Yeah, it
it's gotta be
does.
recorded.
Anything in this room, just?
Anything in this room.
Yeah.
And I think but there is a policy
meeting.
decision
Any
too.
meeting.
Any meeting, yeah.
There's a policy decision for you too, whether you want to retain.
Right,
information.
right.
Not just the statute,
But we want to know what we need to do going forward to help Bernie out and to give ourselves the answers.
I prefer that it be retained. I know it's expensive, but we can, if you want to, as a matter of policy, you can say, I want it retained, or you can say, I'll just follow the statute.
I would for a period of time. I don't think I'd want just not to have it there. 7 years may be a little bit long, but you know, what's that in the middle that we can come to an agreement on that says, hey,
I understand what Gary's saying. He just wants to know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's get the answer, then we can talk about
Yeah.
how long to store it.
Okay.
Because I just want the answer. That way we can make a informed decision.
Exactly.
All right, Bernie. I got our marching.
Okay.
Wait, when you went in front of council,
Yes.
the recommendation from council was to pay the 80,000 total out of bond money, and that's why they wanted you to come here to make sure you were okay.
That's true.
Which bond were they talking about?
They didn't specify a bond, they would leave that up to your discretion. That was the ask, that was the recommendation from council.
But they're okay with it. We just got
Yes, they are, but they didn't want to say, yes, they would pay out of bond money if you were not okay with that.
Okay. Let's get the answer. We'll make that call.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Okay. What we got left here?
Anybody here from Hancock Historical Society? No.
Okay, Kelly's next.
Kelly Yellert,
Thanks, sir.
you're, all
Deb
this
needs a
stuff
copy of that.
you mean
That
all
one?
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, now you
Can
get,
you
Is that the one?
you get to.
Oh, we didn't approve that. We didn't, okay.
Morning,
Don't-
Kelly.
Good morning.
Sorry. Good morning. Sorry, we're passing papers.
You're good. I am patient. I'm coming before you today to, for a couple things in my HR update. The first thing I would like to request is approval for Paylocity as our HR software. I have reviewed a number of platforms, iSolved, UKG, Bamboo HR, and Paylocity. Based on my review of all of those, Paylocity seems to be the best one to fit the needs for me and for the county and the employee population. It is one that is more of a sandbox. It's not something that we can break. Whereas UKG, if we make changes, or iSolve, there's a chance that it may throw things off a little bit for us. So in researching Paylocity, there was calls that were done with me initially and Sherry Cole and Sandy Wilson from the payroll department. And then we had another call with the team from Paylocity came out and spoke with me, Sherry, Sandy again, Penny Weiler from the Sheriff's Department, Major Campbell, Sheriff Burkhart, Director John Jocantis, Assistant Director Greg Shamblin, Director Bernie Harris, and IT Systems Specialist Josh Crane to look at it as a whole. After that meeting, Director Jocantis requested that we look more in depth at the performance management tools. That is a major component of why this HR software is something that I'm requesting. We scheduled another call with Paylocity, so we've had 3 at this point with them, or 4, to look at it. Once we finished that call, I spoke with Director Jocantis and Assistant Director Shamblin about the performance management tools, because they are doing performance management on a regular basis at the 911 center, and they liked this Paylocity system better than what they're currently utilizing. I will say that Hancock County was the first customer to request a certificate of insurance, which they will readily provide once we get some signatures. Advantages to Paylocity would be it consolidates recruiting and hiring process to one location, provides documents with a system for performance reviews. We can set up multiple options for performance reviews, so it's not just a one size fits all. Each department can set up what they need as far as performance management goes and review as often as they want. So if they want to review quarterly, they can do that. If they want to review after a 90-day probation, they can do that also. If there is, it provides a journal entry system. So if there is a coaching system or a coaching session or you know, they want to tell somebody they did a good job, they have the opportunity to do that within the performance management. It has a document library that can be utilized by all departments, and it interfaces with Steel Benefits. So when an employee is hired, it will, the employee can enter their information and it can transfer over to Steel Benefits. It allows the county to bundle the pieces that we need and doesn't require additional purchases of pieces that we don't need. For the 2025 budget, council appropriated $55,000 into the IT software budget for HR software. Director Harris and I have spoken about this purchase and he's aware of the costs. There's a one-time charge of $1,000 for implementation. Billing is monthly with net 30 invoicing.
The monthly price tag again is by employee.
Is by employee.
So a rough estimate of that is?
It is, my quote that I have is based on $375, so it's gonna be about $4,000 a month because we're greater than $375 now, based on the latest numbers, $396. So about, let's say $3,600, because we added a few more people than the last.
And this is gonna be used by the whole county?
Be used by the whole county.
And we don't have something that already does this?
We do not.
Okay.
Does it coincide with all the other documentation and everything with payroll and everything that has to go through the auditor's office work? Deborah, do you have any input on that?
I think clearly states that this is not connected to payroll. This is basically for management evaluations.
Okay.
Yes, so it's to streamline hiring, it's to streamline performance management. It doesn't interface with Blau. It will, however, notify payroll if something has been changed or if an employee needs to update a document. It provides a secure place for them to do updates. So it's not sending things through email.
It doesn't do like advertisement, seeking employees or anything like that, does it?
It will.
That's what we need to.
Yeah, it will do that. So it will, we can set it up to do recruiting also.
And where is it going to do recruiting that we can't?
Once I post a job internally, it'll send it out to the different platforms that we've set up. So I won't have to go and manually
Put 'em
pop
in
it
there.
onto each
Like Indeed
platform.
and all those others?
Right.
Okay. All right, guys.
I think it's a thing we need for performance evaluation. It's part of the
For
stuff that I think
streamlining and budget constraints and all that kind of stuff.
you'd at least like to offer a performance evaluation on someone to a council member who's gonna give a bonus or not give a bonus and tell people how they're doing and not doing.
Okay, so how do we handle the actual not knowing what the total price is?
I think the total annual says.
No, she said it was gonna go up, cause we've added more employees.
We've added people. So it's a monthly service charge. So it'll only charge us based on each employee that we have.
I mean, if it increases, we'll have it in that budget, right, Bernie?
The $55,000 should cover it for the year,
Okay, and then
provided it stays,
after that,
provided it doesn't get, transferred to something else.
okay.
Okay.
It's in the budget's already been appropriated, therefore you would need to refer back.
Okay. Good, okay. I make a motion that we enter into the contract for our personnel services with Paylocity and Hancock County Government. The monthly fee is approximately $36,000. And
3,600 monthly.
what that?
3,600 monthly.
36, oh, okay, wow, I was gonna give them a lot, wasn't I? Okay.
Yeah.
3,600 a month approximately, depending on the amount of employees that we have at that time. And it'll be for 1 year, wouldn't it? 1 year contract time.
I will second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the quote from Paylocity for services for the HR director and the employees of Hancock County in an amount not to exceed approximately $3,600 a month
Yes.
as presented. And to be paid for out of the IT software contractual budget. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay, I just have a couple other updates for you. The Employee Benefits Panel will be meeting to discuss updating the wellness program for 2026 health savings account and premium credits based on recommendations from Apex Benefits. I'll bring that recommendation to the February 4th meeting. The goal is to implement the 2025 wellness initiative by mid-February to give employees enough time to complete those goals. The handbook update that I have for you, I received the review handbook back from AIM, and I've begun reviewing those suggestions. And then job descriptions, I'll have a few job descriptions ready for approval on February 4th as well. I'll send those to Scott for review before I bring them to you. I had a few of them reviewed by AIM, and we'll be reviewing those suggestions as well as consulting with department heads to make sure those changes fit what the employees are actually doing. And then, do you have any questions for me?
Just give us time to look at it whenever you send those to us. That way we've got time to go through it. So,
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I think so. I've never done any of those. We've only hit the ones that have the sign on the,
Okay. Do we need to address, that's the only two
no, that's
left.
a whole, yeah, those are, we didn't get anybody to speak on those.
Okay,
So we can hold
then-
off on those. So next thing up is our action item list, and we've got some
Okay.
additional
Board appointments. So we're up for Bob, December 31st, 2020. Okay, make a motion that we appoint Bob Chandler to the Alcohol Beverage Commission for 1 year, December 31st of 2024 to December 31st, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We reappoint Bob Chandler to the Alcoholic Beverage Commission with a 1-year term ending December 31 of 2025. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Say aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, Capital Improvement Board, I make a motion that we appoint Jamie Bowler Smith, term for a 2-year term, which will end in January 15th, 2024, 26.
All right. Second, it's been moved and seconded that we reapprove Jamie Bowler Smith to the Capital Improvement Board for a 2-year term ending January 15th, 2026. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Janine,
Yeah. I
can you
second.
take that next one?
What's that?
Oh, it's the
What?
Gary McDaniel to the Central Indiana Regional Workforce Board.
Would I take it?
No.
He's asking.
Oh,
Motion.
Yes, okay. A motion to appoint Gary McDaniel to a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2025 to the Central Indiana Regional Workforce Board.
Second.
It's been approved and seconded, or moved and seconded, that we reapprove Gary McDaniel to be on the Central Indiana Regional Workforce Board with a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2025. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Make a motion to appoint Brenda Myers to a 2-year term to the Central Indiana Regional Workforce Board, and it will go from December 31st, 2021, where's that coming?
Yeah, I know, all these dates are
These dates
off
are,
in here.
so, well, it's 2025, so it'd be 2027 of December 31st of 2027. Is that right, guys? Because this has actually got that as 2021.
Yeah.
It should be 2024, isn't it?
on Central
not the
Indiana Regional Workforce Board.
Yeah.
That's not John Harris's board.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is.
If it's a 2-year term, we would be reappointing Brenda Myers to serve until December 31st, 2026.
Yes, I think the 2021 was on there because the yellow X means that, from what I can understand, is that she stopped in the middle of her term.
Oh,
So
So,
I think that's when she stopped.
so has she,
We don't have anybody?
we don't have anybody for that? Then we will have to work on that one.
okay.
The Emergency Operations Center Policy Board is the one that went away, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Then the Library Board, reappoint
And Dave, I'm sure he'd want that.
Zach.
Motion Jack Schoner to be appointed to a 4-year term to the Hancock County Library Board, term ending December 31st of 2028.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we reappoint Zach Shore to a 4-year term on the Hancock County Library Board with his term ending December 31st of 2028. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I make a motion, we reappoint D. Carmichael to the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals to a 1-year term ending December 31st of 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We reappoint D. Carmichael to the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals with a 1-year term ending December 31 of 2025. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Motion to reappoint Kathy Hall to a 1-year term at the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals, term ending December 31st of 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We reappoint Kathy Hall to the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals with a 1-year term ending December 31 of 2025. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Motion that we appoint Janine Gray to the Solid Waste Management District Board of Hancock County for a 4-year term ending in December 31st of 2028.
Second.
Excuse me. Who did we reappoint to the solid waste?
Me.
All of us.
I thought we already did that.
I thought we did
When we
too.
opened up the meeting.
Only 1-year term.
What's that?
That was the drainage board that you guys did. I don't
Oh, okay, well, this
Oh,
is the
okay, I'm
solid
sorry.
waste.
Okay.
Okay, we got a motion and a second?
We do.
Yep, it's been moved and seconded. We appoint Janine Gray to the Solid Waste Management District Board with a 4-year term ending December 31, 2028. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Make a motion that we reappoint Bill Spalding to a 4-year term on the Solid Waste Management District Board, term ending in December 31st of 2029.
2020.
No, 28.
8.
2028. I looked at the wrong line.
Second. You'll have to call the roll.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. That should be it off the boards.
Except for,
Didn't we?
well, we have a vacancy for 2025.
Yeah, we don't have anybody on there.
Yeah.
We'll have to fill that in the near future. Thank you. Okay, what do we have left here?
I can do this scrivener's matter for number 4.
The surveyor's not here to answer for that, or we don't have, do we have that? Anything
Board
from the survey?
Commissioners, we've got a 1-year bill to fill for the Art Redevelopment Commission.
Yeah, and I think that was one that one of the school superintendents filled, so we just need to reach out to a school superintendent.
Was it Jack Parker?
And Dr. Parker, I think, gave it up.
He gave it up.
I think he got off of it.
Okay, I've got a bond deposit, make a motion to accept a bond deposit for Platinum Properties Management Company, LLC, for the gatherings at Aurora, Section 1, Monument and Markers.
Second?
Here you go.
Oh, performance bond.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. We accept the performance bond for Platinum Properties Management Company LLC in the amount of $1,633 for the gatherings at Aurora, Section 1, Monuments and Markers. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I don't have this, can't, street leader?
It's on the back of this.
Oh, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Then I make a motion that we accept a surety bond from Kent Schleter, and it's a $4,000 bond for
Road rage minor sub.
Damn. Yeah, surety for tile, 8-inch tile.
Second?
Second. Go ahead.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the cash bond for Kurt Schleter.
Kurt Slater.
Yep. In the amount of $4,000 for the road rage minor sub, surety for 8-inch tile. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Okay. We're almost there, Bill. You said you need to get out of here.
I am gonna have to get out of here, guys.
Okay.
Can you, on the,
Finish
can
up?
you finish out for me?
Yes.
Just need your initials on this. So,
Go ahead and get out of here.
I'll kind of wait until he.
Okay.
the second amendment ordinance, part 4 ordinance.
No, he's with the he's about the BOT process, yes?
Okay.
Okay, I'll stick around, let's get her done. I just,
This is the second amendment ordinance from part 43, 2024-4C. There was a scrivener's error, and so there's 3 places where it says department, and it should say board. So I just
We
need
discussed
you
this
to initial
a
that
couple of
change.
months ago.
so we can just initial it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We discussed it, and there was no motion made. I'll make a motion for the second amendment ordinance number 2024-4C, changing wording on 3 different places on this ordinance from department to board of Parks and Recreation.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjust or modify the second amendment ordinance number 2024-4C. An ordinance establishing a Board of Parks and Recreation, repeal of all ordinances in conflict therewith, as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
With just initial?
Yeah, just initial in those 3 places. That should be. So I'm gonna give you this. That'll be.
There you go.
You have to stop back by and sign all that stuff
I'm going to,
at a later date.
yeah.
It is. It is.
Okay.
So,
3 places?
Yep. And then gas card for Corey, do we have a gas card at all? Is there an adopted, gas card
Oh,
for the?
Highway Department would have.
You're
Highway
welcome.
department has gas cards, and the sheriff's department obviously have gas cards. This Crossroads, this account that they're setting up is with one that you have accepted a bid on. So
What do you,
it's
for
just an
what?
application for
The credit
fuel,
app?
for fuel.
We could set it up something like the coroner's office. They have their own through Harvest Land, I think.
Yeah.
Is that where you all gas up? No, you're more uniform than.
So what, the Keystone Cooperative, are they part of that fuel bid that you guys accepted?
Oh, okay.
So
Well, there's-
it's just a given, and I had made a recommendation
We
they
do need to,
always know.
yeah, we need to make it easier for them to purchase fuel now.
I would like to just get a card for everybody. I mean, the state of Indiana uses a fleet management card. You get records of how all that's used.
I think once we have a fleet manager, that would be easier
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, okay.
But
Because
we
so
wanna
many
go
of
ahead
them
and
already have cards now.
approve
Cory-
this?
Cory does not.
I think we can approve it, yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the application for credit account for fuel for our maintenance department as presented.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the credit application for Keystone Cooperative for our facilities maintenance department so they can obtain fuel as needed. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Here you go. Oh, we all gotta do it, don't we? Or how do we? Corey has to sign that, don't he?
I don't know.
I think it'd be commissioners that would need to sign that, or the bill at least.
We've got 3 places to.
Okay.
Okay.
Sheriff, you wanna come up with?
You gotta go.
No, we need to talk about the BOT, and so does Scott, so.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Nice break.
Morning.
Morning.
So last week, we had some back and forth with President Spalding and Scott on the RFQ in language with Studio View, with Eric, and making sure that we're actually all on the same page before we actually submit the RFQ. And so we just want to get the verbiage dialed in, make sure the scope isn't overlapping. I've provided the first page of what Eric changed in that language, just so that we understand that Studio View is doing the design work, and then BOT would not be doing the design piece of
Right.
that. So if Eric wants to explain better than I can, he's obviously better than I. So
I think just my understanding, I mean, there's different ways for a BOT to provide design or not. In this case, based on the commissioners meeting that I attended last time, or several meetings ago, the clarification that I got was that we would do the design and then be assigned to the BOT developer.
Yes.
I think that can happen, and I don't know that you need to clarify this at this time. That can happen in 2 ways. We can either contract directly with the county, or once we're assigned to the BOT developer, we could contract directly with the BOT developer. I think my preference would be with the county.
To sign a separate contract?
Just to
with the
sign a
county?
contract with you, and then we are assigned to the project once the BOT developer is hired. And so going forward, at that point, there would be no difference in terms of how the project is delivered. We would sit and collaboratively develop the project and design it. It would just mean that I would be under contract with you and not that developer.
Okay.
I kinda like the sound of that.
Do we, go ahead.
I'm not sure, I don't wanna, kinda intervene on that issue from a legal standpoint, but I was thinking that, traditionally, the bot would be the one to contract with the architect, not the county, but I know that, these guys have been involved with the sheriff.
Well, we do want them to be, used, kinda like the Amplify project where we said, hey, you're gonna use Ratio. We did not let them choose anybody else.
Right, then that would have to be part of this. That's what he was saying, we could do one or the other.
And so and that's fine, and so from an RFQ standpoint, we just inform the people that are going to submit that we will be assigned to them.
Exactly.
And they're not responsible for, in their submittal, providing any designer, like, I don't need to be in everybody's submittal.
Yeah.
They submit and are gonna submit on their experience, who's on their team, you know, those things, and whatever services you want them to provide. For instance, if you want them to do the financing, if you want them to just build it, then we would tell them
So
that.
on the RFQ, we would strike architectural design on this as well, right?
Or clarify that we are the ones that are providing that and not them. They don't have to go out and find an architect to put
Yeah,
on their
let me
team.
I'm gonna take some notes right now.
Yep.
So we got this correct. So I'm gonna say studio view, we'll be doing that. What about structural design?
So I think all things design, so we'll be responsible. What I would think that you would want is for, the principal in charge, me, the architect of record, to be responsible for structural, interiors, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, site civil, all things design related. That way that falls under, my direction.
So the plumbing, electrical, mechanical, landscaping, and what about
Isn't
security?
that the way we
consultant?
typically do it?
Yes, sir.
I thought
All
we
right,
did.
I'll just
That's what I
make
think.
What's that?
That's the way we typically do it.
Have
You
their
guys
contract with
doing
us.
these.
No, have them contract with whoever builds it, the BOT.
Does it
Well,
take
the
away
way
our
So we should
control?
add language.
No,
that
the way
you're
the
gonna be assigned to. Oh,
conversation
you
had
did say
started
they
out
would be
was we
assigned.
wanted it because they've
Yep.
been working with
Well,
the
that
sheriff on
works.
the
Yep.
design from the
Right.
very
And
beginning.
then,
So we
and then
want them to
ultimately, when the
handle all
BOT
design
developer
of the
brings
project.
a,
And just the
GMP,
builder coming
to
in.
the county,
He gets the plans and they can build.
our fees and
But he would work
Will be-
through the builder.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a
included
better
in their
understanding now, thank you.
cost of the project.
Did you reference that on, I've got.
I
this
have not made it, I did not make any comment about that. I think that that's quite honestly something that, the contract structure and negotiation can all happen after they're selected.
Oh.
At this point, I think the most important thing is to say, you're gonna be assigned the designer, you're gonna be responsible for developing and building the project per our design. And once you're selected, qualifications, then, you know, there's that whole, pre-construction scoping period where, you know, the contract negotiation occurs, so we can get down into the weeds at that point.
But your fees would be the $319,507?
Yes. And that would be assigned just to the total project cost. So if
Yeah.
they come back and say, the cost of the project is X, it will be inclusive of that.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it'll all just be wrapped into one GMP package from them.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'll do is, I'll make these changes that I've written, circulate that to Brad, and you guys will make one final pass on it.
Okay.
What about the deadlines? We can change those too.
My only thought was that if it's not already been released, I mean, my understanding is that per the BOT statute, there's a 2-week minimum, I believe, that needs to be post-advertisement,
Right.
needs to be out.
But I put in some other dates because I was hoping to
Yeah.
get this moving along. We're gonna have to modify those a little bit.
So I think anywhere between 2 weeks and 30 days is pretty standard. But 2 weeks is the
How
minimum.
much time should we give, the bot people to provide a bid? You thinking from date of advertisement?
From date of advertisement, I would say that a minimum of 2 weeks, but I think 3 weeks is enough time. It just, what I would do is look at when you wanna receive those so that you have time to evaluate them and then make a decision and then.
Well, and I think that's kind of where we timed our owner's rep, and so we ought to have them by the end of the month, and then they can start to look at those, requests that come in to do the job from the BOT people who've been on that.
Yep, and being that we, are going to be your architect and engineer on the project, I would say that we would be happy to sit down with your owner's rep as well, and not that we would be some voting member of something, but be able to provide feedback on experience, and, I mean, I know most of the construction managers that I think you'd probably be talking to, or BOT developers.
So we're gonna advertise for this RFQ.
Yeah, that's the question. When do we do it? And I'll get the.
But we've not advertised already?
We're making changes to
Okay, but if we have more than one bid come in or whatever, offer for, I mean, we're just gonna strike them and
No,
we have to look at them.
yeah, we have to look at all the bids.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you would prefer using this group here?
Well, Studio View is separate. Studio View
Yeah,
is
that's
separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So-
He's
They're
the
the,
this is
they're the
just-
architect of
Yeah.
record. They're
So-
gonna be the engineer, architect for the whole project.
And
And
they don't
then-
have to go out for,
No.
okay.
No.
That's already been approved.
But
Okay.
once we have the changes made and things are approved this way, then we can move ahead with
Yeah, and I'll have these changes done here in the next couple of days at latest. I'll circulate it. And then the question is, we get it advertised based on the paper, but we've gotta give at least 3 weeks for them to get their bid in.
But this will come back to us.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to you this week
But
for
Are we-
final approval. But I'll put in some different dates, you know, cause obviously we're not gonna do the ones.
But what I'm saying is, don't we have to prove that in a meeting?
Yeah, we'll have the proof of publication that we can provide to anybody, but as long as you pick the date you wanna receive those bids, then we can count back with the paper as to this 2 weeks, 7 days apart type of advertising. We just need to know that date that you want to receive them so that we know when to advertise.
Well, they
them.
need, the bidders need about 3 weeks from the date that it's advertised to bring the bid in. So however that coincides with our next
So,
meeting.
and we've already approved a BOT right now.
Yeah.
We're just amending
This is just
some of
doing
this
the
language. So as soon as that gets ready and meets everybody's recommendation, we can look at whatever date that happens, and 3 weeks out from that date, we'll say, hey, we want the last response to be on, like
Okay.
February 28th or something,
Right.
you know.
What I'll do is I'll leave those blank this next round. You guys can fill in whatever you want.
Okay.
You did it at your next meeting, which is that's still 3 weeks by the 28th.
We could still get it, yeah, put it out.
Okay.
So let's do that. Bring it back at our next meeting. We'll approve it. We'll put it
I'll have it too.
online and advertise it and have a deadline of the 28th of February for people to bid on it.
Okay,
Perfect.
that works.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Good to
you're
see you.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
You wanna get out of here?
I'm gonna go. I know these folks have been here.
Yeah. they may
Okay.
have-
I got a couple of things when they're done.
Okay. So that's it with our line. We got that.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Sorry for coughing up here.
Oh, you're fine.
You already did the board appointment, did that, did that.
We're good.
I
Public
think that's it.
comment.
Public
We've got
comments.
some folks that have been so patient. You folks have something that you'd like to speak on?
Yes, actually, it won't take very long. My name is Vicki Little. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you today. My husband, Joe, and I live on the south side of 150 North, between 700 West and Buck Creek Road. 31 years ago, we were lucky enough to find our forever home there. The road wasn't even paved at the time that we moved in. The plan was to pay it off, retire, and live out the remainder of our lives in the peace and quiet of the country. The atmosphere of country was why we bought the house. I wanted to let you all know about 2 applications for rezoning approval of planned unit developments that will be made to the Town of Cumberland Plan Commission meeting tomorrow evening. I'm not real sure what all anybody has heard about this. I know it's,
Mrs. Little, we are
I-
very much aware,
Oh,
and
are you?
Gary will
I mean,
be
we
attending.
can't dictate to Cumberland what they can do, but at the same time, I plan on making that meeting tomorrow night.
oh, okay.
I don't know that I'm gonna say anything, but at the same time, I just can't tell them what to do.
So you know about the
Yes.
rental community and then
Yes.
also about the apartments and all of that?
It's been a hot topic.
Ah,
It's
okay.
been a hot topic, so
Okay.
thank you for your patience of sitting there all day
Oh, that's
like
okay.
that, and probably bored stiff.
So, what would you like from us?
I just, one of our big concerns is all of this falling as, I mean, I know that the Town of Cumberland Police Department will be policing these areas, but as far as, fire and EMS, that falls to the Buck Creek Township Fire Department.
Mhm.
I know they have concerns because the little houses, and we have seen pictures, of everything except for the apartment complex, which is 550 units. But
The houses, the small houses are on 28-foot wide lots. They're very small, yeah. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, up to 3 bathrooms, 1,200 to 1,600 square feet. I know the fire department was very concerned about those because they're considered more affordable. The homes that are going in, the bigger homes, are going to be priced at $200,000 to $300,000 from Lennar. The smaller homes are going to be quote unquote more affordable. They did not give a price for those. But they only have 28-foot wide lots. There's going to be 84 homes on a 21-acre plot on the south side of 150 on the corner of Buck Creek. And my concern is that when you add Riley Apartments, you add the apartment community from Next Chapter Neighborhoods, and you add the 550 apartments that are going in on the north side of 150, that's 1,039 spaces. And then you add in the homes that are going in, it's 1,197 spaces that the fire department's gonna be responsible for covering all of that, along with all of the warehouses that they currently are covering. And I know there was concern with them about vinyl siding being used on the smaller homes. The fire chief that we spoke to said that he was told that was gonna be fixed, but we were told when we met with the company that they were gonna use vinyl siding because it was more affordable, and these are more affordable homes. 2,800 foot frontage with a 1 bedroom, 1 bath home. I mean, I've seen these pictures and these things are tiny. They look like
We've got a
plastic
neighborhood like that
dollhouses.
around here.
We do.
Yeah. So my concern is for the safety of the residents that are already there, plus the safety of residents that would be moving into this area, given that that's 1,200 people, plus the increase in traffic, and this rental addition will have no parking, no street parking at all. They have parking pods for visitors and, you know, and they have like little driveways and they have little garages, but if they have little houses and they have no storage, most people, to be honest, use their garages for storage. We do, I know a lot of people do. Where are all these cars that belong to these people in these places gonna park? It adds a lot of traffic to the roads, which already have an increase in traffic because of the warehouses. There's apartments going in east of Carroll Road, south of 40, right there. There's also 640 homes going in the Parkview addition at 740. And it's just like an overload. And I feel like the west side of Hancock County has kind of been ravaged over the last few years. And I mean, when is enough gonna be enough? I mean, I know that you can't control Cumberland, and I know that the Cumberland North PUD has already been, that land has already been annexed. But the portion for the Next Chapter Neighborhoods east of 700 has not yet been annexed, at least according to what I've researched. And I don't know how much you can do as far as supporting the Buck Creek Township Fire Department, the residents that are already there. I know everyone in the area of Huntington Heights and 150 North are very concerned about what this is gonna do to home values, because home values typically don't go up or stay static unless you put homes in that are owned and are cost approximately the same as what the home values are that are there. But these homes are already planned, are less than what most of the homes in that area sell for.
Well, I would recommend you get there early because I'm sure it'll be a full house on Wednesday evening there, and I believe it starts at 7 o'clock. Is that?
6.
6
Starts at
o'clock.
6.
Oh, 6 o'clock.
Yes,
That's
they
even better
moved
for me.
it because of both of the PUDs being presented that night.
How many neighbors you got coming to this?
I know I've had a lot of people reach out, and I've
I
had
don't know.
Well, the
communication
thing
with
is, I've
several.
found, I mean, and I've planned on, I mean, I've served on planning for 8, 10 years. So, I've done it with the city of Greenfield and the county. And the more people you get showing up, the more leverage you have.
Well, when there was the first meeting for the first cut before the next chapter neighborhoods, they asked for an extension because they said they needed to answer questions and make some adjustments. That was their wording.
I will tell you this, that, hang on, I don't wanna misrepresent here, but I do believe that one of those has been continued, but the one, the next gen will be on the agenda tomorrow night, but the other one has been continued.
Okay, the
So-
next gen
Is on the,
and is that the?
I think it's all the little vinyl houses that are,
Okay,
yeah, I believe that's the
that's the
right.
Cumberland North one.
Yeah.
They may ask for another continuance, I don't know, but they asked for a continuance the last time and it was continued to tomorrow
Well,
night.
and we had someone reached out and said, would you consider continuing this? And they said yes, and then they came back last Friday and said, no, we're just going,
Okay.
so.
And then, that's why they moved it to 6, because of them having that continuance. And then they were going to also be, going through the next chapter neighborhoods.
But it's
Just
the
the
next
section.
gen that will be heard tomorrow night,
Okay,
unless things have changed since a phone call I had yesterday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
okay.
So, people.
Well, it was standing room only when we were there.
It needs to be standing room only
Only again.
at every session.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so far it has been, but hopefully,
I don't know how much they'll listen, but at the same time, I've seen it happen.
Okay.
And I served too here for 14 years on the planning commission here in the county, and it's intimidating when you're sitting back here and there's a whole bunch of your constituents out in the audience staring down you.
Yeah.
Staring you down, thinking, how's she gonna vote on that, or how are they gonna vote on that? So I'm with Gary on that.
Yeah.
But I was originally scheduled to go, and we've had to flip-flop our schedules, so now Gary will be going to that one, and I'll be going to a different one tonight.
Okay.
So.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Is there any other comment from the floor? You'll save yours? Okay.
Thank you, George. We appreciate you so much. Sheriff had a couple more things.
Wait a minute,
though.
we don't let him talk. He's already talked.
The man's.
Just real quick, so me and Sarah, I just want to kind of get this out there.
You're in trouble.
So when we get, no. So occasionally, the county gets sued.
Imagine that.
Imagine that, and most of those probably are from the jail. And so what's been happening here recently is I think Sarah's been instructed to email that to Walker Hughes for claims, travelers. And so,
Does it go directly to Travelers, or does it go via Walker Hughes?
She'll get it in and she'll email Scott, Travelers, I think the commissioners.
Yes.
yeah.
But
So what's happening is if she does that, because it usually starts out sheriff's office, then commissioners. So if she sends it in, then the claims adjuster reaches out to her and asks all these questions. I need video, I need reports, I need this, I need that, and she has none of that.
But why do we have to send it to them before it's ever been heard?
Because it's a tort claim.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we get the tort,
Okay.
a notice of tort claim, we send it. That way they have record of it, they open up a file, that way, and then they start collecting the data, which we
And
do
they
too.
start raising our insurance prices.
Well, I don't know about that, they're just getting ahead of the game.
No, but every tort claim we have, or claim.
We need them to do it because.
Yeah.
Affects it.
Yeah, so what I
Okay.
wanna do, and I'm gonna work with Sarah, is that I would like to myself send those in first. I'm gonna attach her to it when I send the email. That way, when the claims department gets it, they're reaching out to us instead of her, cause there's a lot of confusion going on between, cause when she gets it,
She gets paper.
she doesn't know who to send it to, whether it's a jail, whether it's a road, where it needs to go to collect the data.
Well,
And
the problem is because there are different tort claims coming from, I think that was the direction that we got from the
Yeah.
commissioners, but, I mean, because I think if there's a tort claim that comes up on the highway, we
Right, yes,
We have to preserve our defense.
yes. And
But
we
if
all-
they're emailing Sarah and she has to refer them to the sheriff,
Right, well, like, I think he got one in the mail and she got one.
She gets it, I get it, because they're all, everybody in the world gets sued.
Right, right.
State of Indiana, the Attorney General, all these people generally
Yeah.
get sued. And so, when she gets it, she was emailing it. Well, then, when I got it, and then I emailed it, and then we found out we were both doing it, and then that created a problem. Well, then, she emailed the last one, and then the claims adjuster got a hold of her and needed all these records that she had no idea and couldn't even get. And so, I'm trying to eliminate basically her having to do some work when it's not necessary. But I would include her on that email when I got it. That way she's aware, and then I can also include Scott on it. Because I've done that in the past. It just seems like something changed here recently. And then we've had some complications with some of these things. So we always, every time I get it, the day I get it, and it's usually certified mail, I email it to Walker Hughes. They get it to Travelers, and within usually that same day, I'm getting the adjuster that's calling, preserve this, preserve that, need this, need that, which we're already doing anyway when we get the tort. I'm just trying to streamline it a little bit so it takes her kind of out of the mix. She's getting it. I mean, she's getting it.
She gets it anyway though, because the auditor gets her.
Yeah, she's already getting it, but she gets the email that's saying, hey, I submitted it, and that way she's aware that it's been submitted. Just trying to not complicate it like it has been.
He's just talking about his claims. He's
Yes.
not talking about any of the other claims that come in. So if, I would say, we don't have any problem, obviously, they've had this discussion. If, when you get that and you send it on to Travelers, copy Sarah and Scott.
Yeah.
Because he
What I'm
gets
trying
a
to say
copy.
though is, and that's fine, what I am saying though is every tort claim,
Yes.
you have to send it to the auditor.
oh yeah.
Every single one. No, I mean, they get served.
They're gonna get served anyway, yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at.
But
So
if he
you're
actually
gonna get it
copies
in-
Sarah on this and everybody, they still have to come to the auditor, don't they?
Yes.
By statute, they have to file tort claim with the auditor,
Yeah.
whether it's sheriff or highway or whatever it is.
So that, we all get mailed a copy.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
get mailed a copy. We all get it.
But I understand what the sheriff wants to do, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
fine with that.
So going forward,
Yes, I'll include
sheriff's
everybody.
claims will go, sheriff will do the heavy lifting once it's
With the sheriff's department
only, yeah.
only.
Yeah.
Do we
I mean,
need a
she had-
motion on that?
And if she had access to the videos and all that stuff, that'd be different. But
Yeah.
she doesn't, and so it's just.
All right.
Trying to leave her out of the mix on that piece, and then her having to decide where it needs to go at that point, so.
Okay.
I don't think that we need a motion on it, but
No,
a
we-
clear and stated process in the minutes,
Right.
we're
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, kind of make sure
Okay.
that everybody's on the
Just
same page.
let's make sure we get it right in a minute and
Good. I'm good.
take care of it.
All right.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Is there any other input from the public?
No, there's a chief sitting out there. You lonely?
Is he still
Just
awake?
sitting.
All right, nothing else coming before the board. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
I just wanna say aye when you say that.
I always want to say nay.
Be safe, try not to.
I'm more worried about you freezing to death out there.
No, I'm kidding. People
Boy,
are-
we all sound like a bunch of sickies, don't we?
I'm good.
Gary, did you get everything signed? You need
I need,
There was a stack here.
I got all of them. Yep. Ma'am? What stuff?